What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yeah, this week, a thing from 2 weeks ago that everybody already forgot about. But we're doing it anyway because it's kind of important, and I feel like it'll be interesting to talk about.
It's important to us.
Yeah, we would have done it last week were it not for the RRR thing, so that's why. We're still doing it.
Well, it did change the power balance of the Star Wars universe.
That's true.
It'll never be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a point in the show where a lot of rocks happened, you know?
Oh,
there were so many rocks moving around and stuff that, like, the power balance of the universe may as well have changed.
Yeah, just because those rocks are in a different place now, so the universe is tilted more than it used to be.
That's right. I feel like we got some great stuff to talk about today. And before that, we're going to have to talk about something that is the news of the week. Are you guys excited for this? You ready for this news of the week?
News of the week.
James Cameron this week said that Avatar is going to be really long. And Avatar 2 is going to be really long. And, hey, here's this quote. This is a real quote. I don't want anybody whining about length when they sit and binge watch television for 8 hours. I could almost write this part of the review. The agonizingly long 3-hour movie. It's like, give me a fucking break. I watch my kids sit and do 5 1-hour episodes in a row. Here's the big social paradigm shift that has to happen. It's okay to get up and go pee. That's interesting, isn't it?
Hey, Diggins, did you felt seen with that comment because you literally just binged Obi-Wan before we hit record on this?
You are his kid. Are you his child? And did you do this in front of him and ruin Avatar for the rest of us? This is your fault.
I only binged Obi-Wan because when we changed when we were going to do this. I asked when we were going to do it today because I was going to watch some of it today.
I'm not shaming you. I'm just like, I don't know. It seems relevant.
I thought you were going to ask if I felt seen by this because I agree. He's 100% correct.
He's so wrong. Well. If you're going to make a long movie, that's fine. Just put an intermission in it. Don't tell me to pick the part of the movie that's not important. Or you tell me this scene doesn't matter. We almost didn't put it in the movie, so this is the run pee part of it. But like,
oh no, he's wrong about the peeing thing. You shouldn't get up in the middle of the movie. It's not what it's for.
Right. Like,
yeah, but like my bladder's only so big, man. Like, come on.
Well, get a bigger bladder then.
You ask so much.
I mean, I feel like the problem with this is they're not the same thing. It's just such a weird little argument to make, you know? Be like, you guys love your TV shows. Why can't movies be those instead? Like, it's almost like he's daring me to not watch it in a theater and watch it at home for that exact reason. But, hey, that's James Cameron for you.
His name is James Cameron, the greatest pioneer.
Yeah.
That's that episode of South Park.
You remember that one?
Okay. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. I forget what the joke was about that episode. It had something to do with Honey Boo Boo.
It's like they had to raise the bar because we, as a society, had let the bar
right
too low.
And he had to go get it in his thing.
Yeah, only James Cameron could go so deep and find the bar to raise it.
Right.
That's what James Cameron does.
James Cameron loves deep sea diving. Loves it.
I mean, this movie is all deep sea diving mostly. And like it's all sea stuff, so that's, you know.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
Perfect.
He like 100% just as a hobby loves that stuff. I think it was a non-insignificant part of him choosing to do Titanic.
Oh yeah, I mean, didn't he even before that? Didn't he do like The Sphere? Was that him? I gotta Google this now. Like that movie takes place underwater for no good reason. I might be wrong about this. Oh man, I feel stupid. No, The Abyss. That's what I meant. Yeah, he did The Abyss. That's not The Sphere, though, but that is... No. Oh, I guess this is the same movie. And what's The Sphere? Hold on.
The Sphere
guys.
is a kind of 3D circular object.
Mm-hmm.
Many people...
It's what the moon is.
So
many people say that the Earth is a sphere, but they are incorrect.
That's true.
Is that true?
Well, the moon is a sphere. The Earth has to be something different, obviously.
The Earth is an oblate spheroid.
It's spheres in the title. Spheres in the title. It's a fucking sphere.
So okay.
Don't you?
I was right and wrong. The movie is called The Abyss, but it's the one I thought about, and I think the alien thing in the movie is a sphere. And, like, they call it the sphere. I might be wrong about that, too. But anyway, the point is, his second movie was about a big underwater monster thing, so it's his favorite. And that movie's not all that great. Well, I guess no, this wasn't his first movie, because he had Terminator, Aliens, and then this. But this was his blank check. He's like, all right, I finally get to do the movie I always wanted to do.
And then Avatar.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you guys excited for Avatar: The Way of Water, the 3-hour one?
I couldn't be less excited, as a matter of fact.
I'm kind of excited for it in the same way. Honestly, I don't know how to quantify how I'm excited for it, because I don't think it'll be good. Nor do I think it'll be that bad. But I want to see it because it's just such a meme now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
do you think deep sea diving in it?
It's a deep sea movie. It's all underwater. It's like, I'm sure there will be deep sea diving in it, without a doubt.
Also, I respect the audacity of. Did you guys see this? Sigourney Weaver is going to be playing a new character in the movie that has nothing to do with her old character.
It's
That's
insane.
not allowed.
Is everybody just going to be like, you sound familiar? There's something about, I can't quite place it, but, and I think she might be like their daughter too, or something like that.
Yeah,
I assume it's a Na'vi, right?
Yeah, I think she's the teenage daughter of the two, and maybe it'll be some absolutely buck wild twist because they brought her to the tree to die. So maybe it'll be like, well, her brain was uploaded to the tree, and so the daughter uses her brain patterns or whatever, which would be insane, and I would love it. But it might also just be that Sigourney Weaver is just in the movie for no reason, which I would also love.
Those, like,
honestly, there's almost no way to lose on this casting choice.
It's pretty wild. Because I also think Stephen Lang is back, the bad guy who got stabbed in the last one and then died. So maybe he's their other son who's like got a southern accent and stuff.
Nando, have you learned nothing from Obi-Wan? Stabbing is not a be all end all. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean,
anyone
if you're a
can
bad
survive
guy,
a
it's
stabbing.
fine.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You guys want to just talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Let's talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think so.
You guys, they made an Obi-Wan
I don't
Kenobi
want
show.
to.
Can you believe it?
Yeah. Do we have an IMDb?
Oh, I guess we must, right? Are we counting last week's IMDb B as in spelling bee, or are we going to just go from the week before? Because last week was a free-for-all.
Well,
yeah.
We all tried, didn't? No,
I'm just concerned we did.
We all tried,
and we had
the audience said that Nando and I won.
I'm just curious. I'm just concerned that this will fuck up the actual numbers, which apparently Roger has and is about to give a mid-year report on. So, I don't know if we should count that one or not.
I think RRR should not count. In my opinion.
What was the last one then?
It would have been Lightyear, which I wasn't here for.
Oh yeah, so it was the one before that.
I think I won Lightyear as well.
Yeah, but we weren't counting that because that was just the two of us.
So what did we do before that?
Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah, which I believe Nando won by the slimmest of margins.
Dude, it's been so long.
I'm really confident that you won.
It makes me convinced that Nando didn't, but I'll go along with it.
Okay, I mean, let me look at the IMDb summary and see if yeah, I think I did get this one too. So let me see if we have an Obi-Wan Kenobi plot summary.
For the whole show, right? There's not an episode.
Yeah, there is one.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have it. Let me read it real quick.
Can you read out loud, please?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I have it. It's there. Have at it.
Diggins, you get to decide who goes first.
I'm gonna let you go first, DJ.
Yeah, smart move. All right. Okay. 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi is living his life as a desert nomad on the remote planet Tattooine. A series of events causes him to embark on a mission that will decide the fate of the galaxy as he encounters old foes from his long past.
Okay. Diggins?
Okay. 10 years into his exile on Tatooine, Obi-Wan Kenobi is called by an old friend to once again confront the shadows of his past and save the future.
I really both not good.
Bummer.
Yeah, because
huge bummer.
Here's the thing: you both went at it pretty obliquely, whereas it's actually a pretty good summary for the show. It doesn't hide too much about the show.
Son of a bitch. Okay.
So I'm gonna see if I can find some trivia that's fun. Let's see.
Alec Guinness.
Yeah, he wasn't the main guy from it. Let's see. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
It's wild to think that Ewan McGregor in this show, like 6 to 8 years later or whatever, in this universe, is going to be Alec Guinness.
It's 9 years, and it's like it must be like the thing in Revenge of the Sith where Palpatine just instantly becomes old. I wonder if Obi-Wan just has a moment similar to that.
A lot of people. I mean, there were a couple moments in this that would have been that, but weren't. But it was like, is that gonna be why? You know, like, is this thing that happened to him that's gonna fuck up his whole face? Maybe gonna make him older later, but that's not it either.
Yeah, right? Is the very specific thing that will be full spoilers very soon, by the way.
Yeah.
So wait, DJ, do you happen to know how far from the start of 4 in Rebels him confronting Darth Maul is?
Yeah. Wait. So, I know how long Rebels is after 3.
Okay.
What's the question?
But, like, towards the end of Rebels, there's a scene where Obi-Wan and Darth Maul have another duel. And in that scene, he's like full Alec Guinness Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Do you know how long before the start of A New Hope that scene takes place?
Is it like 6 months? A year?
Okay.
That would have been. I would have guessed like 10 minutes. Like,
yeah, right. Like immediately before.
Hey, what's that ship coming in with some droids?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a little noisy.
So I got a thing. I have a trivia. It's a tough one, so I'm not sure if anybody will get it. But I'll give you each like maybe 3 shots. Go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So like DJ first, Diggins.
Yeah.
In June 2020, Ewan McGregor said that he would like this series to be called something other than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
What was Ewan McGregor's fake title for this show?
God damn. Okay. I want to say, was it like, you probably would have done something that like the fans would have liked. All right. I'm going to say, did he want the show to be called Princess Leia?
No, that would be crazy. Diggins, what about you?
Well, thank you for getting my first guess out of the way, TJ.
Son of a bitch. All right.
I'm going to go with Old Ben.
No, that's a good one, but that's not it. DJ?
I
will say, since it's both guesses have passed, I wouldn't say you're quite on the right track, but like, I don't know. I think it's possible one of you might get it.
The Inquisitors?
No.
God, what is something somebody said about him in the first movie? Like crazy old hermit?
No, that's a good one. I'm going to give you 5 guesses because I think you might get this. So, DJ, next guess.
Could it be Obi-Wan and Anakin?
No. Diggins?
A more civilized age.
No, it's a good one. DJ? 2 more guesses for everybody.
And this is what he wanted it to be called.
Yes.
This is in June of 2020. All right.
Now listen, he may not have been like, hey, Kathleen Kennedy. This is like the best title that possibly exists for this show. Better than Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're calling it this. But this is something that he said it maybe should have been called, or like would have been a fun title for it.
Okay.
I don't disagree.
The Apprentice.
No, that's a good one though. Diggins?
My Only Hope.
No. All right, one more guess for either of you. DJ.
God damn. Star Wars: A Friend's Journey.
Nah. All right, Diggins, last guess.
I'm trying to think. More powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Nope. So, the answer, and I do have the next game, so it's okay. The answer was, and I really thought DJ might get it in 1 when he said, What's something that he would think the fans would enjoy? It was "Hello there" is what he wanted the show to be.
I almost
which
said
does
that,
happen to also be the last line of the show. So.
I thought it was too stupid.
Yeah, well, that's how these things work.
Yeah, right.
All right, next game. I got the call sheet, and by the call sheet, I mean the cast in credits order. So this is probably close. Like, I don't know how they came up with this, because like there's some guy. It's definitely not based on who appears in what order, although that would make sense. But that's not what they did.
Okay,
Actually,
what's the question?
Is that what it is? No, it's not. You know what? This might actually be the order everybody appears in, if you ignore the little intro with the little babies. The one that's a video game from episode 66 or whatever. So if we ignore that, and by ignoring that, it doesn't matter what this call sheet says. I'll give you a number, and you tell me the either character or actor that shows up at that point in the thing. So I'm gonna go 1, 2.
Now this
3,
is shows
4,
up in
5. Well, it's like it's the cast in credits order, but it is the order that they appear in the show.
Oh boy! Okay.
If you ignore all the beginning stuff. That's the flashback to
Order
66.
If you ignore the thing that shouldn't have been in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean, should have, because I forgot everything, and this was very helpful, and I'm glad they did it.
Very helpful. Okay, so
No,
I'm
not that part. I mean it's fine, whatever. Just to
I know what you mean. Okay, who is what either actor or character is 6th on the sheet?
6th?
6th.
Oh my god! It's okay. Fucking.
DJ goes first, then Diggins.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, this is... Oh, God. I'm going to go with fucking Owen.
Owen Lars.
Owen Lars. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Diggins, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Jimmy Smits.
It is, in fact, Joel Edgerton as Owen Lars. So DJ wins.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Yo, let's
One done,
go!
done it, just in and out. All right, so here's what it was. Here's the order, just for fun. Ewan McGregor first. I was going to go first and see if I could trick you. Rupert Friend, Grand Inquisitor, Sun Kang, Moses Ingram, Benny Safdie. So that's the 4 people in that scene.
Yep.
That's bad. Followed by the Larses and then the Organas. But the one thing that would have been interesting is not all 3 Organas show up in the same order. It's like Mom Organa, Leia, and then you get Flea, and then you get Dad. So I thought maybe I could trick you there. But yeah, so DJ, you won. Hooray!
Shit, that's crazy.
Which
I
means,
cannot believe that.
I can't believe it either. I'm so proud of you. Which means, Diggins, you have to give us a summary, and thank God, because you're the one that watched it most recently of the show.
I feel
this
like
is.
First of all, you need to read us that IMDb summary.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
And secondly, I feel like since we've instituted this rule, you guys have entered a new pact because you don't want to have to summarize anything.
Oh, that's possible.
Oh, I would never admit to such things.
Maybe, no, Diggins, this is part of our plan, remember? You told me this week that you were going to accuse me to throw off everyone's scent. That was part of... But this was part of the plan, too. We had to pretend we were saying the plan so it wouldn't seem like the plan exists.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect logical sense, and I definitely agreed to it ahead of time.
Exactly. And is this part of the plan? Who could know? Here's the IMDb summary. This is what it says. And, honestly, pretty good summary of the show. Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi has to save young Leia after she is kidnapped, all the while being pursued by Imperial Inquisitors and his former Padawan, now known as Darth Vader. So,
wow, that is really good.
Besides the name Obi-Wan Kenobi, almost no words in and either of your summaries matched up because you were all Darth mysterious, Vader. And I understand the impulse to do that, but this one was just no, it's Princess Leia. So. Yeah, very different. I
mean, I guess that does happen in episode 1, to be fair.
Yes. And I feel like once that happens and then the internet gets a hold of it, it's not secret anymore. It's like baby. Although I wonder if the Mandalorian season 1 was what's his name finds Baby Yoda and it's gotta get him to the guys, or if they don't say that. I'm gonna look it up anyway. Diggins, without any further ado, what the heck is this show?
I mean, I feel like I don't need to add a lot to that IMDb summary, because it's but what you said there, he has to go save Princess Leia, who was kidnapped by the Inquisitors, who are working for Darth Vader, kind of. A little unclear.
Kind of.
Then a bunch of bullshit happens that involves them going to a couple different planets or whatever. none of it really matters until the end, when it turns out one of the Inquisitors is a youngling who didn't get killed by Anakin and wants revenge, but she fails, and Anakin, or Darth Vader, almost kills her, but then just leaves for no reason.
That's the tagline for the show. For some reason, they just up and leave.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it. Then Obi-Wan gets away with all the other people he was with, but he goes to have a big fight with Vader, because that's what the show is. Which he also wins and then leaves for no reason. And then there's another thing with the Inquisitor tries to kill Luke for no reason, but then decides not to, because it was a stupid idea she never would have done. And that's the show. That's the whole show. There's really nothing else important that happens.
Wow. I mean, listen. Sure, that is what it is.
Yeah, it's actually wild for a 6-episode limited series that so little happens. Like, this thing could have been a movie. It could have been a straight to Disney Plus movie.
Apparently it was originally, but after Solo, they got really skittish about movies, so decided to turn it into a Disney Plus series, and it shows.
Yeah.
I think, ideally, it could have not existed at all.
That would be great. Well, it can't have, though, right? The Disney money machine was going to make this eventually.
Yeah.
The momentum, the clomentum, as it were, was just too strong. You guys remember clomentum?
Oh, yeah, that's how Klobuchar is going to be president, right?
Yeah. It's still going.
Clomentum.
Still going. I'm gathering clomentum as we speak.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, the clomentum is too much. And there was no way they weren't going to make this, especially because... for whatever reason, and I guess because everyone always says, like, he's the best part of this. Ewan McGregor is one of the actors that doesn't hate the franchise so much that they could never convince him to do this. And I think that helps a lot. Because so many of the others seem to, or at least don't want to be associated with it.
I mean, they also got Hayden Christensen, who I feel like must have much more negative associations with this time of his life.
So I'm 50-50 on that. Well, yes, I believe that's true. But I do think there's been this weird little fan rehabilitation of the prequels, obviously, because that has to happen. That's how media works these days. But specifically about his performance, as if it's good. And, like, I bet he goes around and people, when he goes to, like, conventions or whatever, and people are like, oh, my God, you were so good. We were so unfair to you. And it's like, I don't know, man. We were maybe mean, but I think we were pretty fair.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we were unfair in that people were really mean about it. Like, it's easy to forget now if you weren't around back then, or even just if you were, but it's been 17 years. But people were really unreasonably mean about Hayden Christensen in those movies, but he wasn't good.
No, yeah. It was a very bad performance. And, like, the funny thing is, you could still watch the movie to check, and it's still bad. Like, it's not like it was a play and we'll never know for sure. It's like, no, look at all of it. It's all there. And yeah, he was young at the time and, like, didn't have a whole lot of experience, but, like, it's still not very good.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of, like, I read a whole thing that was like, the prequels are, you know, starting to be looked at in a better light because people who were young and were children and loved them because they were kids at the time, you know, are growing up now, and so they have all these fond memories because they were kids. And I'm like, I was a kid when those movies came out, and there were things about them I enjoyed, and I loved Star Wars, but I can still look back now and be like, those movies were bad, though.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something we should probably say, is like what we thought of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but also just like where we are on the prequels and Star Wars and what we like and what we don't like. Because I do think a lot of the people that I've talked to have some very specific things in general that they like. And like, if it's like, oh, if you like this and this and this, you'll probably like Kenobi. And if you don't like this or you haven't seen this, it's not going to work. But because we never did this, because DJ did win. He was the victor. And to the victor go the spoils. What did you think of Obi-Wan Kenobi : Hello There?
So I was pretty early on this train where I felt like from the first episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm like, I don't like this. I don't think this is good. I don't like the direction. I really don't like how cheap it feels, the whole baby Leia thing. I wasn't about it. I did an episode 4 review with Pop Brick, and like I was the heel, and I'm like, I don't think any of this is good. And I...
Wait, they liked episode 4?
Well, okay, it was the episode that everyone liked the least, but they were still like positive on the show overall. where I was like, no, I think this is bad. Kids in trench coats.
Where else are you going to put them?
Yeah, right? There's nowhere else.
Piggyback ride, maybe.
I just feel like I don't think this is good. And I think it's at a point with Star Wars where if it wasn't for The Mandalorian, I would have been like, oh, this Disney thing is such a bad idea. It's so dumb. It's not, I mean, I know it's all a cash grab, but like I enjoyed Mandalorian so much that like I didn't care about the cash grab. But like with this, it's like if it's going to continue to be bad, I'm just going to have to pretend that only episodes 4, 5, and 6 exist. And it's like, I just don't want to have to like keep up and deal with this anymore. I don't know if we're going to do Ms. Marvel, but I'm curious if that's going to have like a similar effect, because I feel like Marvel's falling into this trap too, where like Disney's like, we have to keep the Disney and Marvel machines running. They cannot stop. But they're specifically Star Wars, there's not enough new stories to tell, and everything's so timeline constrained that like it's hard to do new creative and fun things. So I think they're like really stuck. More so than the Marvel stuff, but I think Disney's like really, really stuck. Like you need a Mandalorian where it's like between like episodes like 6 and 7, because that's like a timeline where it's like, well, at some point we can just pretend that the 7, 8, and 9 just like don't exist, and we'll retcon all of it.
I thought you were saying we need an episode of Mandalorian in between episodes 6 and 7. Almost like Boba Fett. Like,
we tried that already, Nando.
Yeah, we could have used some Mandalorian in this, to be honest.
Honestly, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Just a little baby Mando coming in like, But yeah, I was just left pretty unimpressed by the show. So those are my thoughts.
So wait, and I want to ask, what Star Wars have you seen, played? Like, where are you with that?
In terms of like the franchise?
Yeah. Like, okay, all right. Here, I'll just ask. You've seen all the movies, I'm sure.
Yep.
Have you watched the Clone Wars?
I've watched like more than half of Clone Wars.
Have you watched the Rebels?
Again, like probably a third of Rebels.
And you've watched all the other shows, like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett.
And I've played
the video game?
Fallen Order, and remember the one where Darth Vader had an apprentice? The Force Awakens? Remember those?
I think you could make a straight line between that and when this all fell apart.
Probably. But yeah, I'm completely Star Wars pilled, if that's the question.
It's helpful.
I'm totally in.
Because
if they release it, I'm gonna watch it. Like, My nursery, the nursery is a Star Wars nursery.
Yeah.
Like, it's legitimately a Star Wars nursery. Like, that's how in I am.
You're setting your child up for disappointment.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for Flea. Make sure Flea doesn't go to your nursery and steal your child, because he's all about that.
Oh my god!
Just put a couple low branches. You'll be fine. See, I agree with your assessment that it's not very good. I disagree. Because I think, like, when we're talking about Ms. Marvel, I think they have different problems, because I'm mostly caught up. There's one tonight, and then another one after that. Ms. Marvel, I think, is the problem with that, and maybe we will get to it, is it's 9 episodes smushed into 6, and there's no room to breathe. With this, I think they just make a lot of really weird, bad choices. That, like, that's the thing with this one. There's some of the other things where they've been like, oh, we're going to make a Cassian Andor show. And it's like, I wonder what that's going to be like. Like, maybe that'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. But, like, I don't know. But with Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's like, we're going to make a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi in the years between. So it's like, okay, what is it? It's Old Man Logan. Great. We know how to make those shows. We know what he's doing, and, like, we know what the conflict is. And they just ignored. They didn't do those things. They did a bunch of other shows. Like, they took what was definitely the whole thing of a different show about, Rava the Inquisitor, and put that in this show, regardless of the fact that it doesn't really fit that well. I think it's weird how much this should have been the layup of these movies and shows. And it's instead like one of the harder ones for me to figure out what happened. I've seen all the movies, some of the shows. Like, I've seen a couple episodes of Clone Wars, a couple episodes of Rebels. People always tell me to watch them, and I say, no, they're cartoons for children. Like the Academy says, I shouldn't watch them. And I watched, and I haven't played that video game. I played The Force Unleashed, and then I played some of the other ones. But I've read some Star Wars comics specifically. I've read the Obi-Wan Kenobi Old Man in the Desert comic that this should have been based on. And, like, it's not very long, so, like, it would have been hard to take that and translate it. But, like, it gets what the conceit of the show is. And, like, I understand the like motivation of like, let's make it about him and Princess Leia. People won't expect that. And I like the idea of getting off of Tatooine, but like this guy's whole deal is he lives on Tatooine and wants to do this one thing, and like it's weird. All of this stuff is weird. I don't like think this makes it bad, but I think the way that it fits into the canon is insane. And I think that the fact that they tried to make an in-between cool, and you have to work this hard to like smush the puzzle piece into the puzzle with the remote. It's insane. I don't know. That's all I got. I think Ewan McGregor's fine. I think the Leia actor is bad because she's a child actor, and that's the rules. No, she's okay. Camille Nanjiani, great. The one from Game of Thrones, great. Everybody else, fine. I didn't really like the Inquisitors. I think they're all a bit boring. And they didn't do helicopters. Who the fuck? What are we even doing?
I know. It's crazy they didn't do helicopters.
They barely even did lightsaber fights. Like, their lightsaber might well be guns. Because all they would do is threaten you with them and then back off.
Well, Nando, these men are cowards. These Disney people. Honestly.
Diggins, what about you? Where are you on this show? And where are you on Star Wars in general?
Where I am on Star Wars is, obviously I've seen every movie. I played a few of the games, mostly ones that were like things that happened in the movies. And I used to know a lot of like EU stuff before the Disney acquisition.
Right.
I've really dropped off on that. I've never watched Clone Wars. I've never watched Rebels. I don't really know a lot about the Filoni-verse or whatever the new like EU hotness is, except for movies and shows, which I've watched all of those. The Disney Plus shows, that is. Like I said, I didn't watch Clone Wars, didn't watch Rebels. But yeah, so
or Bad Batch, I guess that's the other one. I knew I was forgetting something. But
what?
Yeah. Bad Batch? Remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
Bad Batch.
I knew there was something that I hadn't talked about that was like, there's another thing, and it was Visions, but I was like, that's not really what it is. Bad Batch, also apparently another show about a bunch of tough guys that lead around a little child. So it's good that we have that.
Well, we had people like the Mandalorian, so now we just have to make the Mandalorian over and over and over again.
Yep.
The worst.
Yeah, so what I think about this show is it feels like a show that, to me, at every single possible decision point in making this show, they made the least interesting possible decision. We're gonna make an Obi-Wan show. Okay, so like a quiet, contemplative thing about him in the desert? Nah, it's gonna be a space hopping adventure, alright? And he is doing that because Princess Leia's in danger and she's a sassy kid. Okay? And the danger is a bunch of people you don't care about and Darth Vader, who has no new compelling conflict with him. You just know that they don't like each other. Okay. Just like it's the least interesting version of everything it does. There's nothing new about. There's no like character thing going on with anybody. First of all, except for kind of the third sister, Inquisitor Rava, but they don't get to it for so long that it just feels bizarre when we get there, and then they don't do anything with it afterwards.
Yeah, it's a big secret, which means we're not going to do anything. Like, we're going to ignore it. And then in the end, we'll tell you the secret, and it'll be like, you see, it was good all the time. And it's like, no, it wasn't. I watched 4 episodes, and it wasn't good. So don't try to trick me.
It's also funny, Diggins, because you watched it all at once, but, like, there was no surprise with the Reva reveal. Everyone's yeah, she was one of the kids, right?
Oh, I saw that coming, too.
She's the black girl around that age, probably, right? That one, that's her. Cool.
I saw that coming, too, because why else would there be that scene at the start of the show if that wasn't something that mattered? But
right, exactly.
But that doesn't make it less a baffling decision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm with you. It's just like it's just so transparently bad.
I would say baffling because it plays its card so close to its chest, and it's like, no, we know you can let her have the character and say things and do things that would lead you up to this reveal later, but you don't have to pretend like we don't know that yet, because we do.
Yeah.
And then in other cases, they play their cards like constantly, but they're the same cards.
Yeah.
Like Obi-Wan and Vader meet multiple times in this show, and like they don't do anything except for the very last moment of the very last time. It's all just they fight a little bit and then somebody runs away and like nothing has changed or happened. It's so weird and I don't like it at all. It's a bad show.
It is a bad show. Speaking of playing the same cards over and over again, how about all those times when Obi-Wan Kenobi was like, Vader only wants me. You go. I'll distract him. That happened in episode 3, 5, and 6. It's insane.
Yes.
Why? Why do we keep doing the same thing? Like, Vader shouldn't be falling for this every time, but also, like, everybody should be suggesting it to Obi-Wan by time 6. Just like, you should go.
The one in time 6 is the most insane because he's like, break off the pursuit with the big ship so we can chase the little ship. And then him chasing the little ship is, I'm going to go in my own ship and chase you. You stay here. It's like, why couldn't you have done both of those things?
For sure, absolutely. Like, yeah, it's not like he brought the whole army down to hunt for him or something. It was just like, it was just one guy.
The other problem is that we're just doing this in Star Wars now. Now we have Star Wars tropes that it's not like I have a bad feeling about this. It's like, this guy just wants me, so I'll do the heroic, brave thing and, get the fuck out of here.
Well, everyone hated it so much when Last Jedi suggested that's not always the best thing to do. So now we have to do it constantly. But yeah, no, the problem with this show is it wants to be a big part of the Skywalker saga where we do more stuff with Darth Vader and everything. And that means it can't do anything because it's between two fixed points we already know about. So, like, the characters can't change their relationship or who they are because we already know where they end up.
But, like, it's weird because, like, they can because, and, this has been, like, talked to death, but, like, obviously the whole thing with Leia, it's like, oh, well, like, how did Leia just, like, you knew my father in the Clone Wars, let's ignore our big adventure. And it's like, whatever, it doesn't, like, matter. But they try to put in little lines, like, I don't know if this was purposeful, but at the end, they're like, Leia, you have to pretend like we don't know each other, because if you do, then we'll both be dead. So always pretend like you don't know me. It's very important.
But, like, I was wondering about this. Why? Everybody that matters knows what happened.
True.
Like, it's not like Darth Vader doesn't know she knows Obi-Wan Kenobi and, like, keeping that a secret is important. He knows. All the Inquisitors know. All of her friends, everybody that, like, Bail Organa knows. So who are we keeping that secret from besides the droids in the message that one time?
It's the biggest kidnapping probably in the history of, like, like, whatever. It's this show is very frustrating how it weaved into the greater universe. And I feel like the problem with, like, Star Wars is that because there's just so much, like, the volume of what you have to contend with is so vast that, like, we are post worrying about continuity. It doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't matter.
But, like, you know what would have made that a super easy problem to solve? Mm-hmm. If this was just, like, an unrelated story about Obi-Wan and, like, him dealing with his grief or whatever. And that can involve him being a big Jedi action star and helping people or whatever. But what it shouldn't involve is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a problem because, like, it's weirdly like a pitch for this show. Like, I do know, people who, like, are like, yeah, I like Hayden Christensen. I like the prequels. And, like, this was a good thing. Like, I want Hayden Christensen in more stuff. So it's like, it's a weird, they had to put Vader in because, like, it's just, it's so important. He's one of the guys. His face is so important.
But he's,
and
we'll get to it, but he's barely there.
Yeah, that as well.
It's so weird to, like, it. Yeah, I mean, let's do the wheel. So I have a wheel, 10 things on it, and they're things that we have all agreed on, or like things that we have all submitted that are some of our biggest nitpicks. And we're just gonna go through those. So here we go.
Buddy.
I'm gonna spin the wheel. Tick, 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 tick. I landed on one of mine. What a good place to start. This wheel chunk just says, what a coincidence. Because I watched the series, and then I watched the first episode again, because I was like, maybe I was a little bit harsh on it. And looking back on, like, where it ends up, the amount of, like, shit that has to happen for any of these characters to meet, but not know who the other one is insane. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, none of it doesn't make, not like it doesn't make any sense, but it even passes like the implausibility of there is an omnipotent Space Force making all this happen, because it's like it's wild. Because in the beginning of the show, Rava and the Inquisitors are looking for Jedi, correct?
Yep.
That's their job, and that's how they work in the games and cartoons, right?
Yeah.
Are
They're
they
looking for Jedi to kill, or maybe other things, which the show kindly alluded to.
And they look like little monster men. What's the deal with that?
What do you mean?
Because like Rava, and the show kind of makes this like clear with that little first part. She's a human, whatever that means in Star Wars. But like she's a humanoid, person. But like she, and then like we find out later that but like it's revealed later that she was a Jedi that they captured, or like that they indoctrinated, or so they thought. The other three guys that all look like weird monster men, like the one from Fast and Furious, and the big tall guy that gets stabbed, and then the third one who stands around and hisses. What are they like bred to be this? Because there's no Jedi that look like that.
Well, they're Force-sensitive people that they probably find and, make Inquisitors.
Yeah, I think just, like, going full dark side for too long turns you into a monster mash.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. And the two guys, the male ones of those, are both in the shows, correct?
Yes.
No.
They are.
Only the Grand Inquisitor is, not the other guy.
No, because the other guy, he definitely is.
What are their names? Because I know
which Inquisitor is he?
Han.
I don't remember. Second brother,
see.
I think.
Yeah, it sounds right. That's all their dumbass names.
Because I think I've seen his little hat in Rebels.
And if he's not in the shows, then that's insane that they put that actor in all that makeup to do nothing.
He is. I have the thing here.
And maybe the girl is too. Then the one that's not. I know Rava is a new character, right?
Yeah, she is new. Here, I put the image in the chat. But yeah, he's from Rebels.
Okay,
that's why it's dumb too. Because
no, but that's not that guy. That's an Inquisitor. That's different.
No, that's that Inquisitor.
There's a guy named the Fifth Brother. You're saying, or second brother, or whatever. Let's see.
Yeah, and that's him. Because some people get butthurt, like that's not how he looks like.
Well, yeah, I do remember people saying that about the big one, that his head should be bigger, which I agree. Everyone's head should be bigger and stuff. But where was I going with this? But yeah, I don't really care. I know one thing about it is Jason Isaacs is the guy that plays the Inquisitor usually, and that's better than this guy. But I didn't hate Rupert Friend, but I don't know. I
think this was so further made stupid because, like, anyone who, like, more so than any of us, right, are, like, really steeped in Star Wars where they have seen everything, right? All of Clone Wars, all of Rebels.
Yeah.
Like, the Grand Inquisitor doesn't die because he's in Rebels, which takes place after the show. So it's a crazy, dumb decision to do that. It's like, well, we know not everyone watched Rebels, so, like, just some people will be like, oh, I guess that guy's gone. It's like, come on!
Yeah, I think that was pretty crazy.
It makes sense that this character died because he's not interesting or important. Well, and then it's like, it turns out that he is? Important at least. Still not interesting.
Yeah, he's definitely important, but also, like, and it's another thing where, like, these guys never come up in any of the new ones, or any of the original ones. There's no mention of any Inquisitors or any of that shit. And they stand next to Darth Vader on his ship, and he goes like, hey, my favorite friend, Inquisitor, let's go do things together. And then he just absolutely, like, I get people maybe not buying into Darth Vader's whole thing, like, in the space, like, Admiral Mahdi and, like, those guys in the conference room that one day. But if you got these fuckheads running around, how do you not believe something's up, you know?
Yeah, ancient religion, it's like, we got guys boots on the ground as of, like, 4 years ago. Like,
yeah, there's 10 of them in the spaceship. You just, like, you had lunch with 2 of them. They're those guys. Do you not believe they exist? Yeah. But I mean, none of this fits into the originals because it's bad.
And also because he did it a couple times in the original movies, now anytime we see Vader in another property, he's choking fools left and right.
Yeah, it's his favorite.
So, like, anyone who's seen him for more than 5 minutes has probably seen him do it. So it's crazy that any of them don't realize he can do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although I do like, what was it? Was it a Robot Chicken sketch maybe once? that have you ever seen this? It's like the training for the new guys on the Death Star.
Yes.
And their thing is they all pretend to be choked and then get cycled through into a different department so they can keep Vader, like, thinking he's in charge. That was cute. But okay. The Inquisitors are hunting Jedi, correct? They are hunting on Tatooine. They're just hunting random Jedi. They found a Jedi ship and tracked it to Tatooine.
Yep.
That is not Obi-Wan Kenobi's ship.
Correct.
Nope.
It's Benny
they're not
Safdie's
tracking Obi-Wan
ship.
Kenobi.
Right.
Yeah.
Rava wants Obi-Wan Kenobi, but that's just hopes she bumps into him. What would the odds be that she would? But, like, you know, that would be a great thing for her.
It seems to be that she wants them to be hunting Kenobi, but the other Inquisitors are like, nah, it's pointless. So they're not... She's not thinking that she's going to bump into him on Tatooine. That's her motivation.
Right. Benny Safdie. Is he on Tatooine looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No, I just think he's hiding.
Okay. So, the Inquisitors go to the planet that Obi-Wan Kenobi is on just by chance.
Yeah.
And the Inquisitor, out of all the Inquisitors that wants to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're by chance.
Yes.
Insane. So then they go to the city, and she starts yelling at people with her lightsaber, and the person that she yells at is Owen. Insane. She doesn't know about Luke. Nobody knows about Luke. She's not looking for Luke. She doesn't have no information. She's not like, oh, you know Kenobi. She just picks some guy out of the crowd that happens to be Owen, which is bizarre, and it makes sense considering what happens at the end of episode 5. But, like, not like makes sense, but that explains why the writers did that. So then...
Yeah, like, it had to happen that way, yeah.
Yeah. So Reva decides that she wants to...
Do they consider making better writing decisions?
No, yeah, that's not possible. Reva goes, all right, well, I have a plan to get Kenobi. So she kidnaps Princess Leia. Because she knows that Kenobi knows Bail Organa.
She knows they were friends back in the Clone Wars, yeah.
And she thinks if she kills Kenobi, or if she gets her, then she will get Obi-Wan Kenobi out of hiding.
Yeah.
Okay. But she has no idea, and no one ever finds out, except for her, that that's Princess Leia is his daughter.
I don't think she ever finds that out. She finds out that a son exists on a farm.
That's true.
The message is broken, and she doesn't hear the part about Leia.
Yeah. And it just so happens to be that guy that she met that one day in the village. Which also appears to be the first time they've ever been there. Like, these people don't seem to know how to deal with Inquisitors.
Tatooine's a remote planet. Like, it's on the Outer Rim. It's
technically not even part of the Empire.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's so crazy. She goes onto this whole planet, finds one guy, and it just happens to be Owen Lars, the guy whose son you don't know is going to be the guy who you're trying to kill later. It's actually his son, and it's that part of it's just wild. The other
how lucky can one guy get?
The other coincidence, which isn't really a coincidence, but it's like feels like a coincidence, is the message that that what's his name sends Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is, I think, not like where the show lost me, but I can't get over that. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Sorry, what?
The message that what's his name?
That Bail Organa sends
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
Like, what was he thinking?
Which message? The first episode or the 5th episode?
5th episode. First one's weird, but not crazy, because it doesn't give away any information, right? But, like, the last one might as well start with, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi to be Bail Organa. As you know, Darth Vader has 2 children. I have one, you have the other one. Here's where he lives. And, you know. But also, I think you're dead now. Or, like, I'm worried because you're not responding to me, so I'm just going to send you a message with all the information that if you are dead, it's just going to send them right to me.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot this out and, you know, hope. I'll put a read receipt
maybe
on,
he just
so
assumes, like, well, obviously Obi-Wan's encrypted his communicator.
Right.
No random schmo could open this up and listen to any messages that get sent. I mean, how stupid would he have to be for that?
And Obi-Wan Kenobi gives it to Kumail Nanjiani's guy. What's he going to do with it? Just snap it in half.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, I guess I would say he doesn't want the Inquisitor to get it. But yeah, like, you don't need it.
Nobody needs it. Yeah, it's bad to have. You think Bail Organa does this all the time? He just gets drunk at Obi-Wan Kenobi, finds a voicemail on its phone, and it's like, what we did to Anakin Skywalker. I have one of his kids, you have the other one. Here's their social security numbers.
He's just like, this fucking guy won't leave me alone.
Yeah, it's really blowing up his spot. But yeah, all the coincidences in episode 1 really bugged me, and then when they come back in episode 6, they're even worse because all that stuff that happens in episode 6 is real stupid. I spun the wheel again. It landed on another one of mine. This is something that's going to come up a lot. This wheel cheese just says, is characters more interesting than Obi-Wan Kenobi? So there's a lot of characters in the show that should be the main character of the show, but are not. Which one of the characters in the show that you think was better than Obi-Wan Kenobi? Like, do you guys have any that you're like, I like that one?
See, this is tough because Obi-Wan in this show is not very interesting, but also neither is anyone else. See, you know what? Actually, no. I've got a character I'd want a whole show about.
The fascist mole?
Yeah, my boy Freck.
Yeah, me too. Like, that scene was great, where it's like, you're kind of like, oh, this guy's cool. And then it's like, no, he's not cool. I love that. I want to see what a Freck's life is like. Why does he like the Empire? You know?
Yeah.
They're probably good to him.
Right?
You gotta help our boys in blue.
Yeah.
Our boys in
exactly.
white.
It's in white.
Well, you know, our boys in blue might be some boys in white also.
That's true.
Hey.
That's that famous show. Or that famous song. Some of the boys who are in blue are the boys who are in white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who voiced Freck, by the way?
I couldn't hear it originally, but then I looked it up, and now I can kind of hear it. But
DJ, do you know?
I do know, yeah.
Okay. It's Zach Braff, for the listener.
Yep.
yeah.
Our boy.
This whole thing was like cameos abound. Everybody was somebody. Because obviously
Even when
had Benny.
they really didn't need to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I want to say the one that not like bugged me the most, but the one that was like, I think Benny Safdie was the one that was the weirdest because I just don't recognize that actor. But he also looks like something. You know, like he looks like an actor. So I spent the whole time he was on screen going, like, who are you? What actor are you? But he doesn't last long. I don't know. I really like Kumail Nanjiani's character. I think that's a character that I'd like to see a whole show about. The Jedi using magnets to pretend that he's a Jedi to pull one over on people. Like,
see, I like the idea of that, except I think the execution of it is really bad in the show.
Oh, for sure. Because the show only has, 5 minutes with him to, like, do anything.
He just decides I'm good now, and then he's good for the rest of the show.
Yeah, and then he's like third in charge of the Resistance. It's like another. This happens all the time, where it's like if you are the main character, you just get promoted to an insane level. What's her name? What about the? Wait,
hold on. Before we move on from Kumail Nanjiani's character, I also want to say what he's actually doing doesn't make any sense. Like he's basically sprucing up his low-level, like, smuggling criminal operation by pretending to be a terrorist.
Yeah. That's a great point. And it's like these people already want to get smuggled. It's not like that's what Jedi are known for.
Yeah, there's no benefit to doing it. I guess maybe people trust him more, but the downsides are immense.
Do you think the Inquisitors all know about him and also know he's bullshit? And they're like, don't bug him. He's fine. Not a real Jedi.
I mean, it seems like Rava knows instantly when she sees him.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, she's so cool. She knows everything.
She does know everything. Even when you think she doesn't know, she knows.
Yeah, you're not going to get one over on her.
The Kumail Nanjiani was good. The cop who was good now was good. What was her name? I'm so bad at the names of these guys. The one from Game of Thrones. Tala, yeah. That's a character I feel like that was more interesting than Obi-Wan. Someone who has defected from the Empire to be good now.
Imperial spy. I mean, that is to say, a spy pretending to be an Imperial.
Yeah.
That's a show.
Cool.
That's something.
That's a show. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a show.
And then the other one is Ice Cube's son from Straight Outta Compton. I don't know if he's that great. Like, I don't think he gets to do anything quite interesting in this show, but probably better than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So I'm reasonably certain that character's not in anything else, but it feels like at the end Obi-Wan is like, "You were really cool in your own show, Ice Cube's son."
He's
agree.
like gonna be an Andor or some shit.
Maybe.
I think what was like wild about him is just like as a character where Obi-Wan's like, we need your help, please. It's really important. He's like, the Empire took everything from me. I have, like, nothing. You have no idea what the Empire did. I can't help you. It's too risky. Obi-Wan, please help us. All right, I'll help you.
Yeah.
No, DJ, it's actually even crazier than that.
Remind me.
Obi-Wan's like, please help me. And Ice Cube's son keeps going, no. And Obi-Wan goes, please, you don't know what the Empire can do. And then Ice Cube's son goes, I don't know what the Empire can do. They took everything from me. They killed my wife. They're crazy dangerous. And getting mixed up with them will get everyone you love killed. And that's why I'm gonna help you. In the same sentence.
And it's like, I feel like the other part of it is like, it's like, help me, rescue someone. And they're like, no. And then it's like, it's a child. And he's like, well, that changes everything. It's like, if the reason no was a no because it's too dangerous, that's just, we'll learn rescuing a child is a little bit different than rescuing an adult. There's some things you can do with children that you can't do with adults. But beyond that,
but also,
it should be just about as difficult.
But also weirdly similar to other rescues that have been performed on the same character.
That's true. It's not hard. That whole thing, man. All these characters. The Ice Cube son. You're right. He did have that like send off that is almost like Princess Leia in the end of Rogue One, where they hand her the tape, and it's like good because this is important later. But yeah, I don't think he's been in anything since then or before this. He might be in Andor, though. I don't know what the Andor cast is like. Is Andor happening at the same time as this? Probably.
No, it'd have to be. I forget. They just had like the year breakdown.
I saw that.
It was like a really weird breakdown.
It's around now, right? Like it's this.
Yeah,
we're in the between 3 and 4. Yeah, so maybe we'll show up. Surprised Andor didn't show up because why not? You know. I'll bring the guy to my show in 2 years.
I can't wait to be disappointed in Andor, even though I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, that one looks actually good. We'll see. I spun the wheel again. Diggins landed on one of yours. This one is called Vinci Wan Adultobi. Now, I didn't understand it before, but now I do.
This is such a good...
But yeah, what do we got in here? Let's talk about it.
So specifically, the name comes from... Have you ever seen BoJack Horseman? There's a character named Vincent Adultman. Mm-hmm. Who, the whole joke of that character is he's very clearly 3 kids in a trench coat pretending to be an adult, and everyone except the main character acts like he is a normal adult.
Yeah.
And at one point, Obi-Wan and Tala and Leia have to sneak out of an Imperial base. And so
the
Tala...
most impenetrable one ever.
Yeah.
Not just any base. It's like the one that's too insane to even think about.
And maybe even you already do that in one of the video games. So with the same base and the same way, I think, is what I've heard.
Incredible. But yeah, so Tala... to help them get out, picks up a big coat that was just laying around and gives it to Obi-Wan, who throws it over his shoulders and sticks Leia underneath. So Leia's this big lump in the middle of this normal man's coat, and they're just walking openly in the middle of the dock, and nobody notices.
Yeah.
Everyone's too worried because there's an intruder alert, so everyone's like on like real nervous and stuff.
Yeah, nobody's on the alert for someone who doesn't belong, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just running, running around.
I also think this is a recurring thing through this show, where Obi-Wan puts precisely 0 effort into his disguises.
Oh my god, dude. It's like, yeah, I agree.
Even after he knows explicitly that his image has been put out there, and pretty much every criminal on this one criminal planet is looking for him, the most he does is pull up his hood a little bit until it falls down because he started running or something, and then he just leaves it down.
Yeah, I think it's especially weird because that scene, that first of all, I would say none of the episodes are particularly good. That one is the one I think I like the least. And that one is the one that I think the fan base reacted to very positively, and it confused me. Then I realized it's the first one where he does lightsaber stuff, and I'm like, I guess that's what it is. The bit where he goes into the place, he swims in with water, swims through water, I assume.
Yeah.
And then gets out of the water. And then there's a guard that he gets, like, because there's like a little door to go from water to inside, and there's a guard guarding it, and he beats that guy up. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, good. Because you got wet clothes, you just beat up this guy. He's got clothes on. This is a good way for you to have a reason to change into his clothes. And that's how you sneak around.
Not even just clothes, but a full body suit of armor that makes it so people can't tell who you are instantly.
And you get to sell more action figures and shit, because it's also kind of what the Clone Wars outfit looks like when it's like half, you know, you can put the robes under it and then you have some of it get blown off and then it kind of looks like his Clone Wars outfit with some robot or some like stormtrooper stuff and some cloak. But he doesn't do that. He just walks around in this big sloppy cloak.
And it's also what they do in the scene that they're constantly referencing here.
Right. Yeah. One of the things that when I talked to my sister about this, that was what she's seemed the most upset about, which is like, where's all this water? Why? How is he able to sneak around? He's not just sloshing everywhere, and like all the stormtroopers aren't just slipping on like, you know, big puddles of water. But
well, that's because he's learned one of the light side force powers, force dryer.
Yeah, like
you just get your clothes nice and dry instantly with the force.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
I also love this sequence. As long as we're talking about him being really bad at stealth, there's one point where he like goes up into a window to avoid some guards, and he speaks into his communicator. He's like, Tala, and they don't hear that, but then she responds going, Ben, and they hear that?
Yeah, these communicators are not good. I understand that it is what they use, but like, it's weird that they use them like regular headphones or like the things that guards would wear in like a nightclub, like just headsets. But they don't, you know, they're not used to this kind of thing. You'd have a volume button or something, right?
I would hope.
They don't have any of that. Yeah.
I will say something I think is also funny, Diggins, to your earlier point, like, it's almost like Ben's not trying. It's so funny how, like, in the first episode when the Jedi is like, oh my god, Master Kenobi, I found you. It's like, oh no, you must have me confused. I'm Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
I'm not Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm Ben Kenobi. Very different.
I guess in his defense, I don't think he ever says Kenobi when he calls himself Ben. That's a episode 4 thing.
Okay, I'm Ben. Well, all right, fair enough.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he never says Ben Kenobi. I just thought it was interesting how, you know, everything matters so much, but you kept the one key identifier of your name. But I guess that's just like a generic, stupid Star Wars nitpick, not an Obi-Wan show nitpick.
Well, it's just more of this, like, don't bother doing this middle stuff if you're not gonna, like, they don't, like, the idea that he is old Ben versus Ben Kenobi. Mm-hmm. It's like, just have him be old Ben the whole time. Don't ever give him a last name. Why does he have a last name? Ever. Like, there's just no reason. He's a hermit who lives in the sand all the time. Like, he's getting mail? It's Ben. That's Ben over there. I don't know.
Well, he has a job, apparently.
That's true. And what is that
whale.
job? Yeah, cutting whale.
Harvesting whale? Yeah, harvesting whale carcass. But, like, what kind of whale? Sand whale?
Yeah, I assume that was like a crate dragon or something, because we saw that in another Star Wars thing, and that's how this works. Right. But I don't know if that was what that was.
I'm not sure either. I'd have to go back and look again.
Yeah.
They gotta be more up on those patrols. He steals from them so easily.
I know, like slowly after everyone's done. Like,
yeah, I was like, wait, are they allowed to do that? Because he does it so slowly and openly. And just, like, not even trying to hide it, that I was like, I guess this is just a perk of the job?
And he, like, always, it's not, like, it seems like their job is to cut these in, like, cubes. And he doesn't, like, take a little bit off the side. He, like, takes a diagonal slice out of it. Which feels like if your job was to make a pizza pie, and you left, and your pizza pie just had 7 out of 8 slices. And it's like, I guess he took part of it. Because this isn't the shape a finished one is in. There's some missing. But, yeah, I guess he does do that. Which is good. I guess if it's free, take it home.
I mean, hey, listen, I fully advocate stealing from your job, so
absolutely,
I am all for his little workplace rebellion here.
Yeah, that whole scene, that episode 4 bit, and I have the feeling this is where this is going to come in too, because Diggins, next thing on the wheel, spun the wheel again, landed on a more elegant weapon. Is that related to this? Like
So-
the escape from the base?
Yeah, you could say that, because for some reason, the show up until this point has had him not use a lightsaber at all. He's used a blaster, a thing he has famously expressed disdain for.
Right.
But he's like so good at it, he like 360 no scopes 2 dudes in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Or 5 dudes in 3 seconds, actually. So I guess, I don't know, he's been training out on the shooting grounds on Tatooine or something?
Yeah, it's a good question. Does he have a gun?
At this, so when he digs up the box, right, at the end of episode 1, he takes out a lightsaber and a gun, right?
Oh my god. He shouldn't have that.
Yo, real talk. How the fuck did he find that box? He buried it like 10 years ago, and he's like, yeah,
sand
I'll
is-
find it.
The Force.
Yeah, the Force and sand doesn't move. I don't know.
No,
maybe
doesn't move?
it took him a really long time.
Yeah,
Maybe that was
Yeah, we
like
did.
try
They
50.
took that scene out.
Yeah, maybe we left out, like the hundreds of other times he tried.
And like there are some Tuscans on like really far away, and one would come over like, what the fuck is he doing? I think he's looking for something in the sand. Yeah, in the sand. What does he think
We
he's
don't even
gonna
do
find?
that.
Yeah, like that's not how this works. It's sand.
Also, real talk, a Jawa would have found it.
That's true.
Like, some fucking Jawa would have, like, definitely found it.
Yeah, do metal
it's not
detectors exist in the Star Wars-verse? Do magnets exist? I guess
they
they
had a
do,
way.
because what's his name has one? Kumail has one.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would definitely find it.
Right. But anyway, yeah. So for the first like 3 episodes, the show has him not use his lightsaber ever.
Yep.
Even in situations where it would be really convenient. Even in situations where his cover is already decidedly blown and there's no reason not to do Jedi things.
Yeah, that's true.
And then in episode 4 here, he like does a cool thing where he shuts off the lights and then murks 2 dudes with the lightsaber. And it's like, it's cool, but hold on. If you could just have used your lightsaber at any point and there was no like dramatic catharsis or whatever where you like didn't want to because of the past and you had to get over that, then why didn't you use it for 3 episodes?
Yeah, I don't know.
They took out the scene where, like, when he's on the ship, he's, like, practicing, like, moving a rock with the Force because he's shaking the Force rust off. They didn't show him shaking the lightsaber rust
But he's
off.
shaking the Force rust off after he's already done like a bunch of cool Force shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's like episode 5. Or no, it's this episode. It's episode 4. And he's already done a bunch of stuff. This show is so inconsistent with like what his skills are. Because he's like doing sick judo moves episode 2, first thing, and then he does blaster stuff super good. But then then later he's like, oh, I can't do a Force.
Yeah.
I'm too old and feeble.
And this is kind of what I think. And I think this has been thoroughly broken in Star Wars since this. But I also feel like this show may have been the worst offender I've ever seen in live action. I do think the Force Unleashed video game broke Star Wars a little bit in like what people expect a Jedi to do.
Yeah.
Because they are superheroes with like, like it does feel like Obi-Wan has, a meter that he uses to do a force push, and then he has to recharge the meter and use it again. And like the lightsabers can deflect most bullets, kind of. Like it's not really that hard to deflect. Obi-Wan does it super easy in episode of this show 4. And it's almost like, why are they shooting one bullet at a like They're doing like soft pitch, like just like, all right, this one's for you. But I also think it's crazy because in the comic that this show kind of is like, which came out not very long ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years, by Jason Aaron, that is the conflict. It's like he doesn't want to use his lightsaber, but the whole thing is because he's on Tatooine and he doesn't want people to know there's a Jedi on Tatooine, and that works. Like if throughout the whole show, it is unclear to all of the main characters that he is Obi-Wan Kenobi, except for maybe Rava, who is like, I think that's Obi-Wan Kenobi that keeps fucking shit up, but I can't be sure. Then it's like, don't use the lightsaber because you'll get caught, and that makes things fun and tricky. But yeah, in this they find out so quickly. In episode 2, she's just yelling, Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's you. Nobody disputes that. So it's super dumb that he's so slow with that lightsaber. But also, I don't think they do a good job in this show of making it look cool either. Like, it does feel like a guy flailing around a big stick, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like in general the fight choreography was very hit or miss. I think it hurts that like the last fight is just rock hurling, which to your point about Jedi being just like broken, it's like, man, if you're just gonna have Jedi like hurl rocks now, then it's like game over. Like, it's
a video game. It is like it's like an ultimate move that Obi-Wan does at Darth Vader. It like picks up all the rocks in the area.
It was ruined with Palpatine in Episode 3 with the Senate chairs, but it just got so much worse.
That's true. And like they did it a little bit in the prequels where they would just introduce like Force, super speed and shit like that. Yeah, and then give it up. But it did feel then a little bit more like it's just something that the Jedi need to be able to do. So the Force kind of lets them do it, as opposed to this like superpower that the Jedi can choose to use whenever they want, and just they've become so max leveled that it's like I can block some bullets or I can throw guys into guys or whatever. It's fine.
It really could use some of that running in this show.
No, yeah.
We talked about this in Twilight. The fast running thing has never looked good, and it never will.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
The Empire also in this seems to have regressed significantly, especially since 3. But also like their guys aren't good at shooting, which sure they never are. Mm-hmm. But also like their droids that monitor the hallways are just one camera that can look in one direction and just like what happened to probe droids having lots of cameras and shit on them? Why is this the cheap version of that?
Well, they spent a lot of money on the big like water base that goes deep down into the water.
Yeah,
they had to skimp on a lot of the security measures. They were hoping to just use, how they're like, why doesn't it have shields? It's because it's so dangerous. No, you'd have to be crazy to go there. Maybe they thought that way about all their security, so they like really slashed the budget.
That's true. That's very true. I heard some people say that this show looked cheap in some points, and I don't completely disagree.
I think there are parts.
I don't think it looked worse than much of the rest of Star Wars. I do think Mandalorian looks not cheap, and like Mandalorian most times looks like a movie. I think this and Boba Fett for me look about the same.
I think
I think that's right.
The problem is that they use a lot of volume sets now.
Yeah.
And like those can look really good, but they can only look really good at certain angles. Mm-hmm. So you end up with this thing where it's like, sure, you have a good looking set, but it means that you can only do things at certain angles, so all the scenes start to look the same. And I think that's what people were picking up on.
Well, I also read an interesting article by off of the Patreon, I think, of Film Crit Hulk, who put out like kind of, I think, weekly reviews of Obi-Wan, which is just like, or just him going like, what the fuck what is this? What's going on? And one of them was like, the fight choreography with the lightsabers is so weird because it just seems to randomly switch between close-ups and long shots, but not like for any good reason, like not to show some sort of emotion or something like that. It just feels like, just swapping between different camera angles because that's how you need to do it to edit it. But it doesn't... Yeah, I think there's something about the lightsaber fights that don't look great. Also, they use a lot of diegetic or whatever it's called, like lightsaber lighting in this, where the lightsaber is the only light source in the scene.
Oh, dude,
and I think it worked once, but I don't think it worked the second time for me.
My TV tries to do dynamic lighting, it fucks it up so bad.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
It goes like dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright.
Yeah.
Boba Fett had some of that problems too with like the night skylighting.
Well, yeah.
Moon Knight.
Well,
and this show did it.
What you got to do is you got to go in there and turn the motion smoothing off.
Oh my god, you're right.
Speaking of things you turn off, I spun the wheel again. It landed on one of yours, Diggins. It's just droids? ... Question mark.
So, at certain points, the show kind of feigns towards saying something about droids in the Star Wars universe, or having droids as like a plot point, but it never does it.
No, never.
Like early on with Leia, one of the things that's supposed to be like so random about her is she's nice to droids. Mm-hmm. Or I guess that's supposed to be a signal to us, like, oh, she's a good person because she's nice to the droids. Because that's how you know someone's a good person, if they're nice to the people that they own.
Yeah, she's mean. He's mean to our slaves. I don't like him. Like, I think there is a problem the Star Wars universe has to figure out what droids are. And, like,
right? Like,
they refuse.
The thing is, like, it's fine to just leave it like they were in the original trilogy, where they're kind of people, but we just don't think about it. Yeah. But they keep thinking about it.
Yeah, they really do.
Stop thinking about it.
That fucking Solo one where she wanted droids' rights and stuff, and then they kind of treated it like a joke, and we never talked about it again.
And they imprisoned her inside of a ship forever.
Yeah, that's true. The Fleabag ship.
And then in this one we have that, and we also have, at one point there's a loader droid that's helping them. Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, he might be a loader droid, but he has thoughts and dreams of his own and wants to help us. And we know the Imperials are bad because they go, it's just a loader droid. It doesn't understand you. And it's like, so is it just a loader droid or is it a person? And why are we bringing this up if we're not going to do anything with it?
Yeah, and it's not like the Mandalorian's whole season 1 arc was like, I hate droids, they're not people, they're bad. And then in the end he like became friends with whatever, the Taika Waititi droid, and now he's like kind of cool with them. They're just the Star Wars. It always felt like that was the big untapped story well of Star Wars, was some sort of droid rebellion, or like addressing that could be interesting. But I don't know. Do you think they don't want to do it because they don't want their other older characters to have been slave owners?
Maybe
that's why we'll never get it.
They might be J.K. Rowling this. They refuse to address the slavery because they don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But yeah, then there's this in the show that exists. There's a perfect moment where they could have done something with it, where Leia has a little personal droid that floats around and does stuff with her.
Lola, the newest toy.
Yeah, she calls Lola, the toy for children. And the twist here at the end of episode 4 is that Rava put an evil switch on it that makes it evil, and it's tracking them for the Empire, and then screws up stuff in the base in episode 5. And so you'd think, like, oh, because Leia is nice to the droids, and, droids, like, think and have their own thoughts and are people, Leia can get the Lola to turn back to normal by, using their bond. But no, she just takes the evil switch off.
Yeah.
And then it's fine.
It's good that she did that. Yeah, it's very, like, it... Yeah, it really is so dumb. I don't know which part bugged me more, that or the droid with hammers, because... none of it needed to be a droid. Like, it's so weird. I'll never understand what the Star Wars movies think droids are. But I think more or less it's kind of landed on that they're slaves, mostly sentient slaves. So, because they want us to have all these emotional moments where, like, the Hammers droid sacrifices himself and, like, goes to die with the one from Game of Thrones. And it's like, well, I don't care about that because you keep telling me it's not a person. Or is it? And then, yeah.
Hey, I cared
so dumb.
I cared more about that droid dying than I cared about Wade.
Oh, Wade. We'll get to Wade. Wade's going to be the new fucking... What was her name? Beth? Or what was the name of the character from Stranger Things that everyone whined about as a joke?
Oh,
they had to make it part of the show. Barb! Yeah, Wade will be the new Barb.
What about... you guys didn't cry in episode 9 when C-3PO got his memory wiped or whatever?
Yeah.
For 10 full seconds.
For the minutes when it counted, yeah, it was falling. And then they were like, actually, we found the memories, it's fine. Because this movie is bad.
He wanted to see his friends one last time.
Yeah, his friends, those 3 people that do nothing but yell at him and make fun of him. Because again, he is a slave, a subhuman, garbage person that they don't treat well. And I spun the wheel again. It landed on one of your guys' it is, if it sucks, hit the bricks. Hit the bricks, excuse me.
Hit the bricks. Yeah, like the share zone.
Yep. I don't know what that is, but is that from something?
It's a Twitter account.
Oh, okay. Nice.
They make a lot of funny posts, including about how we should bring back the guillotine.
I love that. Should.
But yeah, so I said this earlier, but... in every single fight or confrontation in this show, it ends by one person just leaving.
Yeah.
The fight doesn't end. They don't come to any kind of resolution. They don't even have a real conflict besides fighting each other physically. One of them just leaves. They just hit the bricks.
Yep.
Hit the bricks, yo.
Like, we have, let's see, Obi-Wan fighting Rava in episode 2. They fight for a bit, and then he just leaves.
And the Inquisitor, who, like, before she stabs him, is like, let him leave. That's what we do. Don't you go chasing the guy who we definitely should get. That's not nice.
Don't go chasing waterfalls now.
Yeah.
And then episode 3, he and Vader fight, and Vader sets him on fire. And then there's a big fire across, 10 feet of the wide open plain they're fighting in. And Vader just lets them leave.
Yeah.
They just leave.
It's not like Vader can control fire like he did in that scene 10 seconds ago.
Or that
he's got no options.
Or that he can walk 10 feet around the very finite thing of fire.
Listen, there is something really special about the 10 feet long things in the show and how characters can't walk around them.
Oh my
because
god.
that bit with the laser fence, yeah. I mean, that was
yeah.
terrible. Chasing Leia around is terrible. Some of the geography of some of these scenes is insane when you look at it that way. Even in that fight before the fire bit, when Obi-Wan is like, I'll go to him, I'll distract him. He goes over to him, and then Darth Vader shows up, and the first thing he does is, like, bolt in the other direction.
Yeah,
that's how it works, dude.
He just runs. He just hits the bricks.
He's so funny.
Run, Luke, run.
And he keeps trying. He keeps going like, oh, shit, there he is. That runs around another corner. It's pretty boring. Mm-hmm. Show's not good.
Yeah. And then episode 5, they're doing this siege, and they try to capture him. And they do capture him, and like have him in handcuffs, and he talks to Rava about how he wants to help her with her super cool plan to kill Anakin. And her response is to let him go. I mean, not literally, but she's like, take him back in there where there's not a whole bunch of soldiers watching him so he can escape.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know why she does that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that character is very good, or consistent. But even when you get down to, like, what does she want with Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's really confusing, because I do think she genuinely hates him, because she also blames him for what happened to her a little bit, but also, like, there's no, like, moment where they just wink at each other. It's like, no, this is part of the plan. It's cool. It's all just like he knows what she is going to do and why she's going to do it, but it does seem like he escapes on his own with no help from her. It's just a kind of oversight, which is stupid. Yeah.
Then Rava tries to attack Vader. He knows what her deal is. He stabs her. And the Grand Inquisitor is alive, actually, for no reason. Because he's in the show, and he's got to be alive. So
yeah, he's in Rebels, and he can't die.
Somebody accidentally wrote him dying in episode 2, so we had to change that in episode 5.
Yeah, it does seem like that was the mistake too, that they were like, all right, now nobody can die, right? Because we forgot that he's actually supposed to be alive, so like, don't even think about killing Rava. Don't even think about killing. I mean, you could kill Wade, definitely kill him, but everybody else can still survive.
Yeah, Wade's dead.
He's got to go.
But yeah, so Vader like stabs her through the stomach, and she's just laying there, and he's like, all right, cool, and then he just leaves.
Yeah.
And then
how could he possibly know?
Then the final fight in the entire show is Obi-Wan and Vader again. They fight for a while. They have the one good moment in the show, which is when Vader goes like, you didn't kill Anakin, I did. And like, I thought that was actually really good, and like actually got to the heart of like who they are and their characters.
And it left a really good wide open spot for the character development to take place on Obi-Wan's side, which is he finally does the thing that he was always scared to do because he was worried that this was Anakin, but it's not Anakin anymore. So go ahead, Obi-Wan, do the thing.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan like sighs a big sigh and is like, I get it. Anakin really is gone. And then he just fucking leaves.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy.
He has Space Hitler on the ground, panting in front of him, who he is now determined, finally, he's not my old friend, he's just a monster, he's just Space Hitler, and he fucking leaves!
Yeah.
Sorry, Alderaan.
Yeah, I mean, He's gonna go there to check on it one more time, and then he'll never see Alderaan again. I feel like part of it is, I mean, and it's the problem is obviously that he can't kill him, but also it's like, at that point, does Obi-Wan Kenobi know he's not supposed to kill him? Like, how much information? What is the in-universe explanation for why he does not do that? I know what the real explanation is because it's bad writing and all that stuff. But like, what do the fans that want to rationalize this crazy decision? How do they do it? Because I'm curious.
The ones who said like the reason that in Episode 4 Leia doesn't mention anything is because he told her you can't say anything, right? Like those fans. Those are the ones you gotta. What are they thinking? Because I could not.
I don't know. It's part of the Jedi code. He's like, I can't kill anyone, even though I just spent the past 6 episodes straight murking dudes.
A lot of murder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We do so many murders in the Jedi code. It's insane. And also, I'm not really a Jedi anymore, so it's like, that should even free me up for more murders. But
yeah, right.
Even earlier in that fight, there's the bit where Darth Vader crushes him with rocks and then also just leaves. And it's like, keep going, dude, or don't. But, like, do you want this guy dead? Why you just... Like, it's funny because it's both things. It's both, we have people walking away from fights and people almost being killed but not killed. And it's like, oh, that guy's still alive. Oh, she's still alive too. So by a certain point, by episode 6, you figure a character would know that. But they can't know that. It is a lesson that would break the whole thing. And that's insane.
And that's why a confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader is like the single worst direction to take this show. Because it can't resolve itself. By the very nature of when it takes place in the series, it has to be this inconclusive nothing.
Yep. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. And it really is only a Vader problem. Because if Rava was the villain and she was doing most of the things Vader was doing, you could kill her. You could not kill her. That could be a bit of tension that we have to deal with as the audience. But instead, it has to be Vader because he's the one from Toys and from the other ones. So, there we go.
It sucks because even, well, I don't want to like... I was about to not spoil, but mention a thing from Force Unleashed, the video game, but I feel like, Nando, if you're in the middle of it, I don't want to say anything.
Oh. Wait, Force Unleashed?
You're talking about Fallen Order, right? Because I played
Fallen Order, right, sorry.
Okay.
I was going to say, Force Unleashed is quite old. I think you could spoil it.
Yeah, no. Fallen Order has actually an interesting way of solving that problem. It's like, cameos from big bads are good, but you can't have, like, final showdowns with big bads.
Right. Yeah, like, you could totally have, Rava sacrifice herself to kill Darth Vader for a second to give Obi-Wan some cover to leave. And, I mean, what people said, and I agree with this, like, the show should end with Vader running away, right? Like, that should be how Vader leaves. But Vader is a badass who can't run away because he's cool from Toys, so, like, he can't do it. So, like, the show has so many avenues to end this fight, but it has to pick the bad one because it's the only one that fits with the logic of the series.
It's true.
I also spun the wheel again, landed on something you said, but also something I said, but we'll start with yours. It says, not too much of an ambitious evil psychopath. Let's talk about Rava. Which one is it, by the way? I keep switching.
I think it's Rava.
Rava, okay.
Rava Skywalker.
Oh, there we go. Now you're speaking my language.
Oh, now the show is good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's kind of like two halves to her character and how it's like weird and doesn't make sense. And this title here refers to the first half of it, which is she's in the Inquisitors, a group of super evil badasses who hunt Jedi.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. And all of her scenes are her doing like sick-ass Sith stuff that we would 100% expect from a Sith. And then the other Inquisitors going like, stop being so evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
weird.
Why? I joined the super evil club so I could do evil stuff. Why are you telling me not to be evil?
It's like, well, we're the government, so we gotta garner some sympathy.
A lot of paper. There wasn't a lot of paperwork before when we were the rebels, but now we got paperwork, and it's weird too because like that's her the Inquisitor's whole thing in the first episode. The main one, the big white head guy, is like, oh, Jedi hunt themselves, which I like that model. I think that's cool, and it's saying like we have to be patient and we'll kill them. And patience will work. And it's like, I don't think that was ever what the bad guys in these movies were good at, right? Like, the good guys are supposed to be patient, and the bad guys are supposed to become impulsive. And, so it is weird how much the Grand Inquisitor is the opposite of that.
And then they're also like, you're too ambitious for the evil ambitious club.
Yeah.
The whole thing, our whole sitch is defined by the fact that everyone's always trying to kill the person above them because they want to be on top. But you should be the one who doesn't do that.
Well, to be fair, that makes sense from a management standpoint, is to get in charge and go, okay, listen, I know I got here, but I'm pulling the ladder up behind me. No more murdering your boss, okay? We're done with that? Cool. And for some reason, it's not just him, though. Everybody's on board with this. Fucking Han from the Fast and Furious, the other one are all like, oh, Rava, why are you being such a buzzkill? Why are you making this job so difficult? But it's also like, I don't think they're very good at this. They mostly just walk around. Like, they're not cool.
Yeah, like, Han's guy on Tatooine just goes up and is like, we're looking for this Jedi. We'll give you some money if you tell us where he is. Now we're going to leave. And Rava is like, well, that's bullshit. And she cuts off some woman's hand and is like, I'm going to kill this random dude unless one of you says something. And it's like, I mean, it's evil, sure, but they're the evil cops.
Even the first
do the evil thing.
Remember the first scene where she's, not the opening scene, but the one in the restaurant where she's trying to catch Benny Safdie, and she throws the knife at him, or the other guy, and he catches it. And it's like, oh, that's Benny Safdie. He's the bad guy. And she goes to kill him. And the Inquisitor's like, don't do that. And then Benny Safdie makes a small awning collapse and just leaves. And everybody stands around like, shit, he got away. Like, it really does feel like it feels like kids playing dodgeball. Or not kids playing dodgeball. Kids playing like freeze tag or something. Where it's like, he's tagged. You can't get him. He's on his way home from base. You can't attack the Jedi now. And, Rava, the Inquisitors aren't very good in this. They're quite bad. What's the second half of her problem, or her arc that is weird?
Later, we find out, which I think we've already said, that she was one of the younglings that Anakin went to kill, except she's the only one that survived.
That's
somehow.
She said she played dead. I guess
dead.
Oh, right.
Anakin was just, like, so focused on all of the child murder he was doing that he didn't have time to check every single child to make sure they were dead.
Yeah.
Well, he was like, that was his first day on the job as Darth Vader. So like he, there's a lot.
Day
of
one, he went to murder a bunch of kids.
Well, it also like she didn't have to pretend she was dead. She could have just joined them and been like, "I'm bad too. I'm gonna be bad now," and then the same plan works the same way.
Cut a kid's hand off. Yeah, I'm like totally on your side.
Yeah, and then but she's not. But that's what she pretends. The fact that she plays dead is so unnecessary.
Well, I guess you could say that like he would never fully trust her, knowing. I mean, she wasn't thinking about any of this. She was a child.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, love that both the time. First of all, love that they're underlying that Anakin killed a bunch of kids. Like, it feels like the part we should all be not. Like the droids, it feels like we should not be thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's like a weird thing where it's like, well, that's kind of part of like what's going on with him. Yeah, I agree. It's a weird thing to focus on, but they can't fucking help themselves.
Secondly, they put a warning in front of both episodes where we show that scene.
Yeah.
Because of school shootings, but the warning is so vague that it couldn't possibly warn anybody.
I know.
It's like,
right? It's like the worst trigger warning imaginable.
It just says some of these scenes in this fictional show may be upsetting.
Yeah, but not in the episode where like a man gets burned to death in the school shooting one. So like,
or an episode where a man gets cut in half by a laser.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was rad. I like that. Yeah, I do think we need a special one of those for like that, where it's just like Americans keep your play this one close to your chest. Don't. Everybody outside of America will probably be cool. Americans, this episode might not be for you.
Yeah. But yeah, so we find out that she's that, and she's actually just joined the Inquisitors to get close to Vader so she can kill him in revenge for all the child murder he did. Which, fair.
Yeah, that would be a cool plan.
But we don't find any of this out until like halfway through episode 5.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it. It's not that hard to guess because the show opens with a scene of younglings dying for no reason, and there's clearly something going on with her, but they just won't tell us what it is.
Yeah.
So, like, by the time we find out, it's, like, too late for it to matter, really, except for the one scene where she fights Vader, and then it's, like, over.
Yeah. There's some...
Sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say, there are a couple scenes, like the one where she's interrogating Leia, where it's like, this is where we start working this in, where it's like, oh, I was just like you, I have, maybe Leia can start interrogating her a little bit and figuring this out, but yeah, the show just... Because the show thinks it's such a cool and clever mystery, refuses to engage with it in any way until the absolute last minute.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, so then it ends up not really hitting because it's not clear until that last moment. And then also the last thing she does makes no goddamn sense at all once we know her backstory.
And also her plan sucks. Like,
yeah.
To your point, Diggins, right? Her final arc is dumb, but also, like, her plan is like, oh yes, the strongest, most powerful Jedi ever. I'll sneak up behind him. He'll never see it coming.
Sneak up behind him, and even though we've been very clear about, by this point, how creatively you can kind of use a lightsaber, I'll whip it over my head and then come right down like a samurai sword. Like,
no, don't forget, Nando.
Turn it on next to him. It's fine.
I'm also going to yell while I do that.
Yeah. Like... Yeah, you figure with a character like this, the plan would be a plan or something. And, it's nothing. It's just her flailing around and, yeah. And there's the bit where Obi-Wan Kenobi is like, I can help you kill him. I actually want that too. And she doesn't go with it, which is fine. Like, she doesn't have to. But it is like, well, why not? Or like, what? Because you have such a good plan, you can't risk fucking it up? And then this is the plan? I don't think so. I think you could use some workshopping. One of the things that really bugged me about her is because, like, there's so many bits of Rava's plot where the Inquisitors are, like, reading her out and be like, you shouldn't have done this. This is your last straw, Rava. And she keeps getting out of this trouble. And I agree, the trouble is stupid because the Inquisitors don't make sense. But some of the things that she's able to get away with to keep her in the plot are, like, just cut her loose. There's no reason to have her in after episode 4. She let them go. And then Rava goes, no, you see, I put a tracker on the droid, so we'll find them. And it's like, why the fuck did you do that? Did you think she was going to escape? Was that your plan? When did you do it? Because it seems like you would not expect her to escape. It seems like interrogating her was just the plan. But she gets brought into episode 5 through that, and then at the end of episode 5, she finds this stupid communication that doesn't make any sense. And it's just like, nah, we're done with her. We finished that arc. It was fine. It wasn't very good, but it was fine. But yeah, and then she shows up in episode 6 to, I don't know, almost get killed. Like, the Larses almost get her. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were ready. They should have been more ready in, episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah, that was so stupid. Yeah. It's like, so Aunt Beru, like, carries a bunch of guns around and is an Annie Oakley sharpshooter now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why?
Do you know that actress was in a cult?
And the original one or the new one?
The one from, like the mid-2000s that there was the HBO show on.
Wait. But
No. The new Beru or the old Beru?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the new Beru.
The one that was in this show was in a cult?
Yeah.
Oh.
She was in a cult. Yeah.
But she's not anymore. She got out?
No, she got out of the cult, yeah.
Okay.
She started her own cult. She's a real
I was
girl
going to
boss.
say.
Yeah.
Good for her. Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I still think it's insane how much she looks like Aunt Beru. Like, and how much Joel Edgerton looks like Owen. Like, it's just such good casting.
Yeah.
Though those characters are so lucky that they're not beloved enough to become CGI abominations.
That's true. Right in the sweet spot of, like, we have to put them in the show, but we don't get to, turn them into a deep fake. Speaking of people that we have to put in the show, Spun the Wheel again, Diggins, one of yours, Hayden Christensen, cashing that check.
Yeah, so I felt like that Hayden Christensen was in this show was a really hyped up thing, like, before it came out. and was like a thing a lot of people were excited for some reason.
Oh yeah,
he did so much press, and he did a crazy amount of press.
And like Star Wars Celebration, he was there and like being like, "It's me, I'm back. I got Skywalker's back. Gonna do all the thing." They even like released images of him with a lightsaber and a cape, like doing practice fighting. Which I don't know what scene that was from. Because he does lightsaber fighting, but he's not wearing a cape, and I'm pretty sure he used a body double for most of the rest of it, but sure.
Yeah. I was going to say, unless he was doing the body work for Vader the whole time, which
he was not.
I very much doubt
He was not.
Yeah, no.
No, he 100% was not.
I wouldn't think so, no. He's in this for, like, 5 minutes, tops.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a flashback scene in Episode 5 where he fights Obi-Wan that we keep cutting back to. And then in Episode 6, at the end of the fight, Obi-Wan, like, cracks open the mask, and he is, like, you can tell because the voice modulator is failing. Like, it is Hayden Christensen talking and acting with a single eye in a broken mask. And that's everything he does in the entire show.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of figured there'd be more of those flashbacks or something to, like, things to make people that don't give a shit about the Clone Wars show care about their relationship. But he's
in one more scene, Diggins.
What's the other scene?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The flashback.
I said the flashback.
Yeah, he said the flashback. I thought you were going to say that time when he's in the desert looking at Obi-Wan Kenobi like, And you're like, is that Hayden Christensen? And then we never see him again. That was pretty weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple, like, trauma... The first 3 episodes with Obi-Wan open with him having trauma flashbacks.
Yeah.
Just the same ones over and over again with nothing changing. And I guess Hayden Christensen is in those, but only in, like, split-second flashing images.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it. That's all he does in the whole show.
It's wild, too, that the voice is, like, the James Earl Jones, like, voice cobbler together.
Well, yeah, they used the voice deepfake for that was weird because it sounded really good. And I remember when they did this with Rogue One and they had Vader voice, I was like, that sounds like an older man. And I was like, kind of okay with it because it is an older man. But it was also like, this would be weird for someone watching these in order because he doesn't sound the same in the next one. He sounds younger. But yeah, with this, they just went, fuck it. We're going to use a soundboard and we'll figure it out from there.
Well, I feel like Vader's the one character you can get away with that for because it's a deeply modulated voice and he doesn't have a visible mouth that you have to match anything to.
Yeah, that's true. What'd you think of the Vader outfit in this?
I mean, it's Vader's outfit, right? It's,
I feel like there's like a little bit more going on in terms of like lights than usual. I don't know exactly where, but like something maybe on the hands or something like that. There was something that I was like, this is different than before. And I don't know if I hated it, but I probably hated it because it was part of the show. I hated the show.
Yeah, just the fact that it was part of the show meant that Nando hated it.
That didn't help.
No. I will say, though, Hayden Christensen, he totally cashed that check, barely in the show, is responsible for, like, the one good moment in the entire show. Well, not that, because there's Freck also, but the one good moment in the finale. The one good moment in the finale.
Whatever you say. I do think, I mean, this is the last thing on the wheel, so I can't wait for this. But I do think I'm kind of surprised by the restraint that a couple of characters did not show up in this. I did think we would get what's his name, Cal Kestis from the video game.
Me too. I was so convinced,
and I also thought we might get Andor or some Andor character. But none of that. And I spun the wheel again, landed on the final little slice here, and this is from Diggins. Diggins, you want to just say this one because it's in your voice?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a message to Disney, to Star Wars, and especially to Dave Filoni. You can't make me care about Ahsoka Tano.
How dare you, son of Dave a bitch!
Filoni is rolling in his grave right now, hearing that talk, because that's the whole mission of all of these Star Wars is forever now. It's like, how is
you have to care about Ahsoka Tano
thing? Yeah.
Listen, I'm not even saying Ahsoka Tano is definitively a bad character or whatever. I wouldn't know. I don't know a goddamn thing about Ahsoka Tano, and I never will. I refuse to learn. It's just, it feels like, I mean, Star Wars now, especially, is like so big on nostalgia and pandering. and there's not a lot else going on. And I think that's what makes it so jarring when some of the nostalgia pandering they're doing is to things I have no idea what they are.
Yeah.
Like, Obi-Wan has a moment where he, like, looks at a wall full of nonsense and is like, Quinlan Vos was here. And I'm like, who?
Or what about the Hall of Dead Jedis?
Yo, the Hall of Things that we could bring up later? Oh my god.
The Hall of a bunch of dead jerks I've never seen in my life.
Yeah,
and there's just a long shot lingering on each and every single one. Presumably, so if I was a Clone Wars person, I could be like, oh, look, it's Brigden Bogdo, my favorite Jedi Master.
Yo, Brigden Bogdo is the best. Hush your mouth.
Well, technically, Brigden Bogdo is alive, so he wouldn't be there yet, but he might show up there in a second season. Because, they do have a cameo in Andor, so get ready. I don't want to spoil it, but they're coming back.
It's going to be tight. Really excited.
I think this is what people feel like when I go to watch a Marvel movie with them, and they don't really give a shit about it. And I'm just like, oh, my God, that's something they said in the thing. So, that's what you get, I guess.
Yeah, like I said,
swings back.
The whole thing is nostalgia pandering, and, like, most of it is bad. But these ones stick out to me as being especially egregious, because I don't know what the fuck they are.
Yeah.
Like, there's the whole thing where Leia gets her iconic holster that's so indicative of her character.
Which, is that a thing?
She's wearing a holster in episode 4.
She has a holster,
okay. I didn't even recognize it. I wouldn't have even... If she wasn't wearing it, I would have believed it.
Or Luke with the fucking ship.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Everything has to be a thing from something else. Like,
ugh. I do think, too, the whole, like, everybody has to get to their places for the next one, like, the Leia part of it that bugs me is not as much the transmission, although I think the transmission is made dumber by this, but is the fact that when Obi-Wan Kenobi dies in front of her, she doesn't give a shit. Like, Luke seems really broken up about it, and I get that, like, she's tough and stuff, but still, like, nothing, no moment where she thinks about it or has any reaction.
It's not even that. It's like specifically she goes up to him after Obi-Wan dies, and Luke is all upset.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry, he seemed like a cool guy, I guess. It didn't really mean it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you'd think that'd be the moment where she would be like, even just being like, yeah, he was an old friend of my dad's. He was a cool guy. Like, you'd say something.
Right? Yeah.
But that was never in the cards.
No, because he said it was a secret. He said to keep it secret. Even from the camera. For us.
Even from the young boy I am training to be a new Jedi man, and who is clearly not with the Empire and not someone you need to keep secrets from.
Yep. And yeah, the whole thing, that whole thing is dumb. And then the bit, because this isn't on the wheel, but I do think we got to talk about the actual, like, little last bit of the show where he goes to live in the desert and then he sees an old friend from previous things.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
well, first he says the iconic line.
The name of the show.
Yep.
Oh, hello
there.
me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. Yeah. Which also, like, I don't know, man. Is that his catchphrase now?
Hello there.
I didn't even know that was a thing that people were, like, nostalgic for.
Oh, really?
I know that's the first thing he says, but, like...
And he says it to Grievous or something at one point, right? Like, it is kind of it's become a meme, I think, because of the Grievous one.
It's the first thing a character says is they're meeting another character and say hello. It's the least special thing possible.
Yeah. Nah, but, like, that's the thing. Some of these characters just don't have special things. So it's like, I guess it's that time he said hello twice the same way. That's his favorite thing to say and what everyone loves about him. I don't know. The whole Luke thing also doesn't really... Like, what do we think Luke thought happened? He just got bonked in the head before any of the cool shit.
Yeah, right.
And then
he's like,
nothing ever happens on this farm.
He's like, that was a really weird Tusken Raider I ran from last night. Oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that does happen every week. Maybe the Tusken Raiders just fucking And that's why they're all strapped. Is like, that's another tussle.
Yeah, that's how Emperor knows what to do. We've defended our home before. We'll defend it again. Every time. No matter what. No matter how many stormtroopers come.
Well, yeah, and that's something that happens in the comic that I don't think has happened. I don't even remember. I don't know if this happens in the show. Kind of blurs together. But there's the bit where there's like raiders that are fucking up all the farms in the book, and Obi-Wan Kenobi kills them before they get to Luke, because he's like, I gotta protect Luke. And Owen's like, don't do that. It's bad, and you're gonna get us in trouble. And Luke's like, no, I gotta, because I gotta protect the kid. It's like that kind of stuff exists and makes the world seem a little bit more dangerous. But yeah, the only thing that Luke really deals with here is an evil assassin comes and fucking like yells shit to him. Because I feel like there's a lot of like, hey, little boy, come to me. I'm not going to hurt you. I don't remember what it is, but whatever it is, it's got to really fuck this kid up. Like, it's real scary.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, what'd you think of the Qui-Gon Jinn cameo?
I mean, it's weird, because this was supposed to be a thing from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where Yoda's like, training I have for you. Your old master.
Master Yoda. Wow.
Master Yoda.
You joined us.
Most nitpicking favorite podcast mine is.
Wow.
Well, that's not Diggins, this isn't Master Yoda. This is just some crazy old fool. Actually, it's Master Yoda. I think
he sounds so much like Master Yoda. Master Yoda, can you lay on us some of that classic Jedi wisdom?
An apple a day, the doctor always keeps.
Oh,
wow.
Dr. Pomba or whatever, that guy whose arm Obi-Wan Kenobi slices off, which another character I'm shocked did not show up here. I think that's his name, right? The one who has balls for a face. You know who I'm talking about? The one in the bar.
Yeah. Hey, Yoda, can you explain why there wasn't a scene in this movie of Obi-Wan brainwashing a guy to stop doing drugs?
No.
Obi-Wan's powers weak they were in this show. They needed to get back they were. No ability to brainwash there was.
But really, I think he almost does the opposite, because he throws down that cloud of heroin at the group of bad guys at one point.
That's pretty good. But wait, Master Yoda, how's it going?
Can you do some noises for us? Just
yeah. What does it sound like when you like sit down in a chair and like get comfortable?
Oh, sit down when it sounds.
Oh, you're showing that chair who's boss.
If anyone wants to cut that out and use it for a ringtone, I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah. Wait a second, I have a question, Yoda. Because the Star Wars happened a long time ago, so you're still a ghost, I assume. I can't see you because this podcast. What's heaven like?
Nando, to heaven Jedi do not go.
What?
You
go to hell?
We commune with the Force, we do. We become one with the universe.
So wait, that makes sense, I guess, because that is something that you guys have said before. But, like, what are you doing? Like, does time pass? Did you just wake up and it's like, I guess I have to be a guy now instead of, like, the universe? Because sometimes you're a guy and sometimes I assume you're not, right?
Wake up, read newspaper.
Oh.
Go to favorite Force Ghost Deli.
Wait.
Eat some Force Ghost birds. Go to Force Ghost bed.
He's like a retired guy. I like that.
Is there like a Force Ghost neighborhood somewhere?
It's everywhere. I go to Delhi where you go to Delhi.
So, like, in the space between the atoms exists an entire Force Ghost world that you live in?
Yes.
Now,
all around you it is.
That makes sense. Yoda, you are a Force Ghost. And as we know from some of the movies, sometimes if you are a Force Ghost, you show up as younger you. And sometimes it's an older version of, like, sometimes is it when you die? Or do you get to pick what you look like when you come back as a Force Ghost?
Nando, what it is, you see, moisturizer important. Need to put on a solid foundation every day. You must, in order to look good when a Force Ghost.
Oh.
So wait.
Skincare regimen is imperative.
So Vader was like doing an intense Well, I guess Anakin then. An intense skincare regime in the, like, day that he died between then and the celebration.
That's true.
And then when you are Force Ghost, must keep up skincare routine with Force Ghost moisturizer.
Well, but Anakin was a monster mash when he died, and then he was a normal man afterwards.
No, that was Darth Vader who died. Anakin Skywalker died
that's
a long
true.
time ago.
Anakin
So you're
Skywalker
saying
did die a long time ago.
So you're saying that's not just a metaphor, that's literally true?
Yes.
You know what? I wouldn't be fucking surprised if that's the direction they go in.
Here's my other question. Did the villains go to hell? What happens to them? Because they're not sticking around, right? I guess none of them really do die.
For
they'll just get
Sith Lords.
Oh,
well, that part of town. We don't talk about it.
Oh, like the South Side is just all Sith ghosts, and like across the train tracks, it's light side ghosts. Is that how it works?
We like to think of it as community integration.
Oh, okay.
Put up Force Ghost Whole Foods.
Oh no, that's how the Force Ghosts find spots is gentrification. Is that why the lightsabers are red? Is because they redlined out these districts for the Sith to live in? That makes sense, actually.
No, it's just
Yoda. You should do something about that.
You know when Google did
like
a big Star Wars thing where like a scroll bar became a lightsaber and stuff? Now I'm just imagining like a sponsored redlining map where the banks have used red lightsabers to mark where you can't rent houses to black people.
That would be so. I mean, listen, if that happened. If we were taking another shot at that, and like that was happening now, that's definitely what would happen. Some sort of fucking plug-in. It would be in everybody's map. Yoda, I know you have to go because of the rules of being a Yoda. I just want to ask, why did you hit R2-D2 with your stick that one time? What's going on with you two? Because I thought you were friends from the third one, but then you beat him up.
Very upset I was at him. Tried to take food away from Master Yoda.
Why did he try to take food from you? He's a robot.
Well, R2-D2's kind of a piece of shit when you think about it.
Him?
I love that about him. Don't get me wrong.
He's going to the bad neighborhood when he dies. Wait, do the robots have souls?
The separate circuitry afterlife for droids.
Oh.
Wow. So they do have souls?
It's like the metaverse.
Oh, no. That truly is hell. This makes the movie so much worse. I mean, your real life, because it happened to you in real life. Before we let you go, anything to plug, Ghost Yoda?
Remember to do your Force training daily. The Force is all around you. And if anyone offers you to be their apprentice and they just killed their master, don't sign up. Say no to Sith kids.
Hey, Yoda, what happened to the weird way you say things?
Say things weird, do I? No. Weird things say, do you?
Okay, cool. Well, it's been great having you, Yoda.
Yeah.
Good to be here. It was. Goodbye.
Bye.
Do you want to just get us with a couple more noises before you go?
Hey, guys.
Too late.
Dang.
Do you think Yoda's, like, baby Yoda's gonna grow up, and then you're gonna hear regular Yoda, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck his deal is. The rest of us speak normal.
Baby Yoda just goes like,
talks like this.
Oh, I'm not really sure why Yoda talked like that. We actually all speak very normally.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Like, we knew the Qui-Gon thing was coming,
right?
Because Yoda told us it was going to happen,
and that's why it happened in this. Very good.
Yeah, not a surprise though.
No, yeah,
right.
I mean, it would have, with him saying like the whole like, you know, we're always here, but your eyes were not ready to perceive. Would have been a whole nice capstone if that had in any way represented Obi-Wan's arc, or Obi-Wan had in any way an arc.
Or if it would have been like a good like emotional climax when like he really needed it.
Yeah, if instead of a cameo, it was something that happened between episodes 5 and 6 or midway through episode 6. Because he kept going like, he kept just sitting down in some of the episodes like come on, Qui-Gon, let's go. And it never happened. And it was just like not, it wasn't going to happen. It didn't matter. It's just a little tease for next season that I really hope they don't do, but it might because it did get a fair amount of viewers, and
they gotta do the season
down.
where he has adventures with Luke that make the later series don't make any sense.
Yeah. What about Han Solo? Can him and Han Solo be friends? And then both... Because I remember some people that were saying, like, that they thought that at the end of this show, Obi-Wan would mind wipe Leia, because otherwise it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't. But, like, that was the plan. And I wonder if they will do something like that with someone else, like, you know, Han Solo or Chewbacca or something like that. And then at the end, they just mind wipe them.
It's like, hey, man, you just can't remember this. It's against the rules.
Like, all right, so last thing, what do you guys want from season 4 of this, or season 2 of this show that will definitely exist?
No, I don't want a season 2.
To not exist.
They said the rules is it has to. So what do you think we'll get?
Those aren't the rules. I say no to those rules.
I want season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, honestly, I'll take that.
Okay, no, hold on. I'm going to give a real answer. Let's see. I think I would want to have the thing that we've been talking about that this should have been, where it's the story about him, old man in the desert, having his own little adventures, like trying not to draw attention to himself, but wanting to help people, you know, being the Jedi on the run that they talk about at the start of this show, and then it never ends up happening, really.
Yeah, they should do that. But I don't know, maybe Andor will be in it, or maybe those guys, the two guys from Rogue One, the one guy who's blind and the other guy who has a big old gun, maybe more of them. I don't know.
Sure, man.
It's gonna be some cameo.
I was gonna say, do we have to put people who are already in things in it?
Yeah, it's
Can we have new people?
What about baby Yoda, like a 2-year-old baby Yoda, just a little fetus?
Zygote Yoda.
Zygote Yoda. Yeah.
Zygoda.
Very good. I don't know. I think they will. Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll do it. If they don't do a cameo, yeah, it should be the one that you said that is the one that the comics is mostly. You know, I don't know. Or just like, God, I can't even imagine what I would want. There's really nothing. I could do more flashbacks. I could do like flashbacks to Clone Wars shit mostly or something. Remembering a little mission from that was exciting.
I guess.
It could be like Better Call Saul, where the whole thing is like a prequel flashback. But at the start and end of the season, or no, I think it's every episode, we have a little vignette of him in his sad little life in present day.
Right, I could see that. And, like, you know, that could lead to some, like, I feel like they could have done that here if they wanted Vader. It's just like, Vader's coming, like, but that's all. And then throughout the season, we get these. Because I would like to see Anakin Skywalker try. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Hayden Christensen give it a go. And, you know, have Clone Wars adventures and stuff. But, yeah, they just had that one scene where he looked like a 30-year-old man. And Obi-Wan looked the same, because he's always kind of looked the same. But they just did their little fight in the weird kind of empty room of nothing. So
those are the classic just Jedi empty rooms of nothing.
Honestly, yeah. Like,
I love that shit.
We're back to, like, Attack of the Clones set design. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're back there. I don't know. I could see, you know what I could see? I could see Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, I don't know, dealing with some bounty hunter or something like that on the
Boba Fett comes after him.
Oh boy, is he still alive?
Oh, yeah, he'd be like a teenager.
Oh yeah, he would have to be too young. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
No,
I don't know,
he'd be pretty old by then, because he was a kid in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
that's
true.
How
long is it between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith?
I think it's
roughly
3 years since 2 and 3, so maybe like 13 years.
Yeah, ish. Yeah. So yeah, he's like young adult.
Yeah,
you know, fucking.
And he could stand around during that show too and say like, "I want to rule this with respect," and then we'd all go, "Ha! We'll wait to see that."
Dead.
Yeah. I don't know. They'll make it though. We're definitely gonna. I think we'll get it for sure.
I really hope not, but you're probably right.
Yeah, I hope not too. I hope Andor is good, and then they go in that direction instead of just like different stories. Like we joke about Dexter Jettster, but like that's kind of something maybe, you know.
God,
like
I wish
Kenobi
Dexter
dealing with
Jettster.
shit.
I wish Dexter Jettster had been in this show.
Like they're friends. He could go check on him. Oh, my friend needs help. I'm gonna go help him, and then deal with the Dexter Jettster problem. I don't know. But, you know, it'll probably just be more what this was with Greedo or something. Cad Bane. The Bad Batch will show up with their little lone wolf and cub, and he'll have his lone wolf and cub, and him and Mandel, the whole team of wolves and cubs will all team up.
They just get to compare notes. How's your cub? Oh, my cub's great. How's your cub?
Yeah, do you teach it how to be cool and tough like you? I do. Does it speak like a fucking 40-year-old adult? It does. Don't they all? That's just the rules of these. Cool. Obi-Wan Kenobi. They made it. Hooray. What's the next Star Wars thing? It's the Andor show?
Andor, yeah.
Is there anything after that? I guess Mandalorian. But like...
Oh, yeah, I guess we will get one of those.
Are you sure that it's not Mandalorian?
Oh, shit. You're saying Andor's going to have some Mandalorian in it, too?
Yeah,
might as well.
Listen, we can't know for sure that any Star Wars show doesn't have an episode of The Mandalorian in it. Now that they've done it once.
I don't mind it. We could have used some here. Couldn't have hurt.
It would have been great. I don't know how, but it would have been amazing.
Yeah. I feel like we have some movies that are all in some stage of like probably going to be canceled, but not quite yet. Like I know John Watts has one that's probably going to happen. Taika Waititi has one that I feel like I read an interview today that was like, yeah, he's not sure anything about it really. They haven't started, so that might not happen. Who else? The Russo brothers were gonna do one. Fucking Kevin Feige was gonna do one. We'll probably never see another Star Wars movie in our lifetime. So cool. But speaking of movies we did see or will see in our lifetime, do you guys want to get into our classic segment?
Yeah.
I would love that.
Wait, what?
I don't know. And sometimes these are movies. So,
I see. Yeah.
What movies or TV shows or video games do you like to recommend to the fine people, DJ?
All right, I got two things. So one is a Star Wars related thing. I thought I'd keep it thematic. I know. But it's good Star Wars stuff. So, actually, there's like a weird analogy, not to go on like a total tangent, but so like how like EA does all the Star Wars video games and Disney has all these like TV shows. There's like one company that owns like all of the rights to Star Wars board games. They're called Fantasy Flight Games. They're like one of the like 4 board game monopolies that like just own every other board game company.
Well,
but
not
it's
like the board game Monopoly. That's its own monopoly.
Not right. That is
Hasbro.
different.
Right.
Yeah, it's just funny because like they too just like shoot their shot by releasing like 7 billion Star Wars games. It's like there'll be no people who buy these, and they're not always good. One that is good, I may have mentioned it on the show before. Star Wars Rebellion. Is this familiar to you guys?
I don't know.
All
All
if
Star
you've
Wars
mentioned
stuff
it
sounds
before.
the same,
But I know
Yeah.
it.
So I may have mentioned this before, and don't worry, there's a new reason why I mentioned it. So essentially, it's a 2-player war game style board game. Diggins a couple of months ago mentioned War of the Ring, the Lord of the Rings style one of those. So this is similar. So one person's playing the Empire, one person's playing the Rebellion. It's taking place in the episode like 4, 5, 6 range. And essentially, it's a game of like cat and mouse where the Empire is trying to find the Rebellion player's hidden base. So, the Empire has an incredible amount of resources and the Rebel player doesn't, but the Rebel player has the element of like the Imperial player has to find the Rebel player, and the Rebel player is just trying to kind of burn clock and do some sabotagey things to accelerate the game just so they can kind of win. And the, Rebel player or the Empire player has like the Death Star, and they're blowing up planets, and, they're just trying to stomp out the Rebellion. And it's very fun. It's actually a very well-designed, fun game. There was, maybe not recently, maybe within like a year and a half, there was an expansion for this game, because if we have a board game, we need an expansion for it. And what this expansion was called, it was called Star Wars Rebellion Rise of the Empire. And what this does is it adds all the things from Rogue One into the board game. So you could play as like Krennic, and you could play as the oh my god, what's the main protagonist's name? Jin. You can play as Jin or so.
Right,
yeah, and you can play as Andor.
You can
and like
play
all
as
guys.
Andor. Can you play as Stellan Skarsgård from that show? Andor? He's going to be in it.
So, but yeah, so it adds all of the Rogue One elements, which it adds more meat to the game. Which if you've played it a bunch, it's some new stuff for you to do. But it's a game I played over the weekend with a friend, and it's just like a very just like fun, well designed game. It's like expensive because there's so many minis in it because it's a big, bloated, complicated war game. But it is one of those games that like your local game store probably has a copy for you to try. Or if you go to like any like board game convention, you like probably find some good luck trying it out. But yeah, I thought it's something I would recommend because of the the Star Wars of it all. So that's one of my recommendations. My other recommendation is hey, have you guys heard of a little video game called Neon White?
I have heard of it. Oh, you played it.
Oh my god, it's so fun. I love it so much. I know there was a Donkey video about it, and everything he says in that video was incredibly accurate. It's so fun. You feel like a badass playing it. Michelle had her like tagline for the box would have been, if I was a 16-year-old teenage boy playing this game, I would feel like the coolest person ever.
Oh my god! Did you get to that line from the Donkey video yet?
Not yet, but I can't wait. I honestly like the dialogue's so bad. I like skip through most of it because like the story is just so weak. Like this could have been a game with gameplay and no story, and I wouldn't care. I don't need to hear like Stephen Blum's grunts to be like, oh yeah, I'm so invested in this game's story because it's so bad. But the gameplay's so good.
Nice. So
yeah, it's either Switch or Steam. I got it for Switch just because I don't know. It felt like a game that I would want to play on like a controller. Not that I could with the PC, but also the Switch just has that added convenience. But yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I got it for the Switch. It was like $25 or something. It's well worth it. And yeah, I play Neon White. It's so fun.
Yeah, I think I might pick it up. I'm pretty curious about this as well. And I honestly, I do want to see the cringy dialogue.
It's so cringe, dude. It's so, because it's all like the trope stuff. Because it's weird. I forget what like the term was, like phoneme, because it's like in anime style, but it's not by a Japanese studio.
Right.
It's by like a Western studio. They're just like, what if we did this for fun or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For whatever reason, studios choose to do that. So,
cool.
But it's good.
I'm excited. Diggins, you got anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. I saw a little play over this past weekend, that I really, really enjoyed. It's a tiny little thing. You might not have heard of it. It's called Hades Town.
Ah.
Not familiar. No, I know.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it, so I don't know what it is. I refuse to acknowledge its existence.
You know of it, though, right?
I kind of know it's Greek mythology or something, right?
Sorta.
You're not. Yeah.
I mean,
like
it is
like
it's
a take on that.
It's a very stylized take on the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm sure you all know, but just in case,
I played Hades. I know.
Yeah, if you played Hades, you know.
You went through all the side quests to get all that extra dialogue.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Orpheus was a famous Greek singer and lyre player. His wife Eurydice died, so he went down to the underworld to get her back. Hades agreed because he played such a beautiful song, but he had to not look back at his wife on all the way out of the underworld, and he did it like an idiot.
Yeah, what a moron.
So this is like it's almost like a kind of jazzy, like Depression era America take on the myth. It's very, very allegorical and kind of poetic. Like, I wouldn't say it's a very literal show in the sense that there's a plot and things are happening, but you're kind of meant to understand it as being this like metaphorical thing more than it is like what is literally happening. But I really, really liked it. I think it pulls that off really well. I think theater is an especially good space for that kind of storytelling because you're already in such a mode of suspension of disbelief watching people on a stage like that. And I think it does it super well. The music is great. There's like, kind of your classic Broadway ballads and stuff, but there's also some real bangers in there. Like stuff that's just fun to listen to. And the playwright, whose name is escaping me right now. I think it's Anais something. Listen, there's so few good roles for basses out there. And Hades is like an incredible role and is also a bass. So she's doing the Lord's work. So yeah, that's my recommendation. If you live near New York, or I think there's touring productions now, so you can. Yeah,
there's a tour.
So you could see it in like the city closest to you, probably at some point. It's a really great show. I definitely recommend it. Nando, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I must, right? I mean, I've been watching a lot of television, but really it's been 2 television shows because that's just how it works these days. They're all a bazillion hours long. I finished Stranger Things. I think it's okay. I think it's the parts of it that are
okay.
Yeah, the parts of it that are good are pretty good, and the parts of it that are not at Hawkins are, I would say, feel kind of like, I don't know, like it's part of a fine show, but it's the same thing with like some Star Wars stuff, like Phantom Menace or Return of the Jedi, where the finale is just cutting between like 5 locations, and it's just like, I care about one of these locations and one of these plot lines, so if we can get done with this one, that would be great. I kind of felt like that throughout a lot of the show, but in the finale, I think it really kind of hit me. And it's a 2.5 hour long finale. Eat your heart out, James Cameron. We didn't have to binge the whole season. Binging a show is so long that it feels like I'm binging a season. So, I don't know. I think it was fine. I did see, I caught up on the For All Mankind show, which I absolutely love. I'm like fully caught up. Season 3, 4 episodes in or whatever. The thing that I love the most about it is what makes it so fun is it's a great show about space and stuff, which is great. But every so often, they sneak in this one plot line that is just pure fucking trash. And it's so fun. Every time it starts, you're like, oh, this one. Yeah, let's get more of this. And I've never seen that amount of, like, kind of dissonance, and, like, everything that's happening is so cool and serious and like, feels like prestige TV. And then this one thing that feels like Emily in Paris just managed to, like, wiggle its way into the show. So I really enjoy that. And whenever I say that to people that know of the show, they know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is just such an egregious thing. I will say I haven't finished Umbrella Academy. I'm still working on that. But getting caught up on For All Mankind and finishing Stranger Things gives me a lot more kind of freedom, which is nice. But yeah, I downloaded Jedi Fallen Order. I just downloaded the Neon White game, so maybe I'll have more game recs next week. I don't know. Hopefully I get some time to play them.
Who can say?
What are we doing next week, fellas? Speaking of that.
Thor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They made a Thor movie.
We'll be feeling Thor.
You
That's right.
son of a bitch.
Damn right. Until then, do we have anything to plug to find people? DJ?
Yeah, same. Check out Roses and Rejections. Our latest podcast, we just covered The Men on
just all
Gabby
of them.
and Rachel's season. Yeah, all 32.
Oh, all the men that have ever existed.
All the men. Yeah.
How'd we do? How'd me and Diggins do and all the men that have ever existed?
Oh, man, you guys crushed it.
Yes. Really? Wow. The
so
pool must have been really bad.
I mean, that's so true. So we covered that, and then starting next week, it'll be back to weekly episodes because after this long hiatus, The Bachelorette's back, baby. So
The Bachelorette this season won't be a clusterfuck, we swear.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that, because I was a fan of the 2 women from Clayton's season who are the 2 leads. I hope it doesn't destroy their friendship. That's like the only thing that I hope doesn't happen. That would be like a sad outcome. But they seem to be friendly on the press, which, like, unless they're like really good at compartmentalizing, like if something happened, they would probably show in the press, but hard to tell. But we shall see.
Cool. Are there any other Netflix dating shows coming up that you're looking forward to? Weren't they making like F Girl Island? When's that coming out?
Right. Are we getting season 2 of... Is it going to be F Girl Island? Is that the...
I know I heard that was something that they were thinking about, but I don't know. Oh, wait. Season 2 of F Boy Island comes out...
There's a trailer.
Yeah, it comes out on the 14th of July.
Oh my god!
Yeah, right.
Oh my god! Next week. Wow!
Can't
wow!
wait.
Wow!
I'm thrilled.
Okay.
I hope they set them up so it's 1 episode a week, but who knows how they'll do it.
Yeah, we'll see how they do it. But so we'll be covering that too. Oh man, that's so much reality TV to watch at once. All right, well, we're in, baby.
Yeah. Diggins, what about you? Anything to plug?
Just my usuals. I have my newsletter, a little perspective.substack.com, and I stream sometimes at twitch.tv/this is an odd name.
Cool.
What about you, Nando?
Nah, not too much. Just videos coming out and working on a video casting what I'm calling the next generation of X-Men, which is like Rogue and Shadowcat and stuff like that. So it's on its way. I'll probably be done with that, but soon, but maybe not before next week. So, we'll see. I've been doing live streams on Twitch, just drawing the characters to the whiteboard. So keep an eye out for those, twitch.tv/NandoVMovies. But yeah, until then, I don't think I have anything else to plug. Maybe I'll have something about Thor that'll come out before next video. Who knows?
Nando will have the contrarian take that it was the best movie this year.
Oh, yeah. not only the best movie this year, the second best Thor movie behind Thor: The Dark World or something like that. That's the comparative take. That will make everybody upset. Yeah, so we will do Thor next week. Until then, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woohoo! Bye. We love you.